Hello, everybody, and
Hi.
welcome to Legends of Logomancy, Call of Cthulhu. We are the greatest TTRPG streaming the side of Monday nights has ever seen, and these guys are about to die, just like that intro.
I'm
It's
not
gonna be
gonna make
great.
it.
Everyone
I
Oh,
ju-
else is gonna die.
Just absolutely gonna be smears, I think. A
I'll be
crazy
fine.
smear.
we are here tonight to wrap up our 2-episode arc of Call of Cthulhu. Before we get into kind of a recap of where we are and vision into where our investigators might tread next, let's do a roundtable, see how everybody is doing, starting right off with Ken.
Hello, everybody. Just
I
getting over a little
can.
bit of a bug, so sorry if I sound a little bleh today, but it's also in the mood of a man who's deeply damaged and slowly losing his grip on reality.
I
I
like it.
think Cole has more issues than he brought in on this session one.
It just stacking them up like cordwood.
And how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm excited for the amount of sanity that I'm going to lose. It'll be great. I'm super excited to know that my luck is running out. It's a good time, and there's just a lot of stuff that I'm ready for.
I love it. The smile's doing it for me. It's wonderful. James, how you doing?
My voice is stuck in the low tone.
Do you think
It's
you can
just
hold that the whole night?
uh, this is the comfortable place to talk. So yes, 100%.
All right.
It'll be okay. But doing all right otherwise. I've neocitrin and the hopes and dreams that the vicar's gonna live.
So we'll get into this in a second, but the Vicar has an unprecedented amount of luck this game. Um, so we'll see how your luck versus your neocitrin intake helps you with the gameplay.
Now, if I need to get more luck, should I have more neocitrin? Is that the point? Is that the bet I'm
Sure.
hearing here? I like
I
it. Good.
believe
Sure.
the big
Yeah.
takeaway, though, was you can't luck your way out of a sanity roll.
You
Yeah,
cannot.
it's
Or an
okay.
opposed roll.
I have 80 sanity. I'll be fine.
Neon, how you doing?
Yes, I'm good. I'm also recovering from an illness. So we're all a bunch of sickos today. But no, I'm looking forward to causing everyone else to lose sanity and being completely fine, as per the wants and whims and wills of Maeve and whatever powers are pulling the strings.
What a wonderful segue into the reality that is our current game of Call of Cthulhu. So, a little recap. When last we left our investigators, Ken, what happened?
Um, well, there was a lot of I would say it was investigation, but it was mostly tripping over things that we should have found a bit more obvious, perhaps.
Mhm.
But we came to the house together as investigators, getting into the estate of my poor, dear great aunt, who hopefully left me enough that I can scrounge together to not en- enrage those I have debts incurred with. But together, we have discovered the grisly scene of the house and the mad clues left behind. Some of us have even listened to those mad clues, and others have not. But currently, I believe that half of our fellows have walked through the mirrored door, and the other half of us are succumbing to our injuries on the other side.
Yes. So they've been exploring through Widow's Peak Manor, which is the heritage home of the family of the Merlanes, left by the late Lady Merlane to her great nephew Cole Merlane, and her unlikely or the curious nature of her demise is being investigated by Detective Roger Cadigan with the assistance of the church in the form of Vicar John Wright, in an attempt to ascertain the true value of the possessions remaining in the estate, Maeve Stone has been brought on to assist Cole Marlane in assessing the values of items which he may pay off his debts. And amongst that, they found a very mysterious room covered in red markings all over the walls and a recurring message to find the book, find the book, find the book. They also there found a radio, which some have listened to, and they started hearing voices. And they also found a doll buried in the soot and ashes of the reading room. reading room.
Baby. Come on, let us
Securely
see the
hidden away.
face.
Securely hidden
There
away.
There
she
you
is.
go.
There she is. They've
She
been
wants a
carrying
hug.
No. She'd like a hug. Um,
No.
they did find a secret entrance into a mystical hallway, mirror-filled hallway, and as we left, the vicar had unfortunately failed his attempts to gain entry to the door and fell a story and a half. The Cole is afraid of heights due to a severely low sanity or severely bad sanity roll, and is hiding at the edge of the balcony. And the detective and Maeve were just entering into the brightly lit room on the other side of the stained
Oh,
glass
yes.
window. And so at the end of our session, the other thing I wanted to let everyone know at the end of our session, we did roll for new luck for this session. So our investigators have each rolled new luck. Everyone started at 50 for session 1 and have rolled for session 2. To those of you that rolled well, congratulations. To those of you that rolled poorly, good luck. And to all of you, let's begin. And our scene opens on the ground floor of Widow Peak Manor,
Oh God, why?
where Vicar John Wright lays on the center of a large blue rug in the middle of a pool of blood, which you'll remember from last session seemed to be refilling with blood constantly. No amount of running your hand through it could stop the blood from seeping.
I'm glad this ominous pool of blood broke my fall. Oh, my ribs.
Vicar, you're incredibly prepared for your day. Your past experiences have led you to always be prepared in case of exorcism. And
Specifically.
included within your belongings is a semi-pointed blunt instrument that you now find wedged between your second and third rib.
Yeah. In that little rounded leather satchel that he keeps underneath his coat, there's a wrought iron railway tie, like a railway spike that it's not sharpened, but it doesn't matter because it's a giant chunk of iron that went whoop just right in the tender bits.
And as you are laying in your blood and you continue to bleed out, what do you do?
He takes some tentative breaths and like feels around, and he looks at the small hole in the satchel that the thing punctured through. Like I don't know at this point like how much of the skin would have protruded versus like the ever shade of green and purple that's spreading across his ribs at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to um just kind of like steel himself and get to his knees and start working his way towards the dining room where there's some better light, because he's going to need to take off his coat and take a look.
I need you to make a roll for me.
Sure.
I want you to do a you know what? Give me a spot hidden's my go-to. Let's do either you can do spot hidden or first aid. Your choice.
I will do first aid. That would be a failure of a 91 versus a 40.
Okay. You get up with a lot of pain
Mm-hmm.
and make your way to the dining room.
Yep.
The ornate lighting provides you slightly better visibility of your wounds.
Mhm.
And as you brace yourself near the table, your hand smears blood into the otherwise pristine surface of
Yep.
the table.
Do I get any kind of a sense how much of this is mine versus how much just soaked in from the carpet?
The coloration of the blood on the carpet is as red and fresh as yours.
Okay.
However, the red that is trickling out at an not unalarming rate
Yeah, like
does give you some.
it's starting to pool up from the inside of my white shirt
Yes,
underneath.
your jacket is coated in blood that you know from your shoulder and you like the bottom of your pants. You're like, okay, that's not mine yet, but
Mhm.
that's mine.
John has a small first aid kit
Okay.
on his person that is period appropriate
Mhm.
because I care about that kind of shit.
Vicar, are you alive? Is that you stumbling around down there?
Yeah, I could use a hand, my good man.
I don't know if I can.
Do your best, sir. Feel the pure power of God. It compels you to come and stitch my wounds. I promise.
Hmm.
I see. Have you stained the carpet in there?
The carpet is already stained.
No, I mean
The
the one in the dining room.
The carpet under the table has started to become soiled with blood.
A little bit of vinegar. It'll be fine.
But would you say that the carpet now needs to be given to the church?
Probably. I'll take it with me.
And I'm trying to find the most inane way of distracting myself from the reality of being up on the second floor
Yeah.
while inching my way back towards the stairwell.
I will be
So-
very clear. You can, Cole, you can still see the mirrored hallway and the now closed door with
Right.
none of your three companions are within your visibility, but you can hear the vicar downstairs.
I'm
Got it.
in the dining room. I could truly use some of that brandy.
Focusing on that voice, inching my way along, willing myself to just kind of pull myself along that banister railing back towards stairs, which are horrifyingly tall.
They
And just kind of
are.
holding on as hard as possible.
So
You do make yourself down. I see what you just included there. You do get yourself down there. It takes about twice as long as it should have. And
Way too
given
much
the
time.
urgency of his wounds, will impact the first aid roll on this.
So I come to the doorway and I see you with something sticking out of you. And the first thing I do is blaspheme deeply.
yes,
God damn.
we're going
Injuries
to
like you have not seen since the war.
we are going to ignore that for now, my good man. In the front of that satchel, you'll find some needle and thread and a small pair of scissors, some gauze and bandages. I landed on my ass and also on my bag, which I think might have dislodged a few ribs. Quick, fetch the oil of cloves.
You are. I dare not describe the thing I'm thinking right now, sir. Oh boy. Okay.
So in this case, you are helping each other. So
Okay.
in Call of Cthulhu, when you are helping, you get to each roll it, and you can take the better result of the two for how first aid goes.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Good. That.
Yeah,
That sounds like an excellent way to go.
you can do
Alright, so better
a
if-
regular roll.
Yeah.
Because
And
you
we
have
can-
nothing else.
We can push with luck if we need to.
You can push with luck if you need to.
Hard success.
Heyo.
Look at that. Whoa!
Hey!
Even better hard success.
Cole coming in with a 7 versus 30.
I
Yeah.
like the idea that Cole is the one that's doing all of this.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
Wow.
mechanically, I have to yank it out while you quickly jam gauze into it and start packing more and more gauze into it. And then once you succumb to the pain of jamming gauze into your own wound, I follow up by
Yeah.
like strapping it closed.
Yeah.
And then we'll
What
deal with that later.
what I'm gonna say,
Stitching gauze and then
yeah.
Oh God. Anything to just stem the bleeding, we'll deal with whatever's underneath that another day.
waxed thread.
I mean,
Hello,
yeah,
Dolly.
we don't have duct tape, we don't have super glue, but this is 1938. This is
Yep.
just
This is a needle and some sinew.
Cauterize. Burn it
He's
close.
not.
Yeah. I'm gonna say with 2 hard successes on that roll that Vicar John Wright, you're not gonna continue to take injury from this injury as we continue. That was a very good roll. 2
Do I
very good rolls.
do I recover the 1 hit point that
You
first aid
recover
is?
1 hit point. Yes.
yeah.
All
When
right.
you wake up with me stitching you shut, pouring a little bit more brandy on the hole.
I have iodine in this small tincture bottle, sir.
I already drank it. We're good.
I will say that you need medical attention within the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're gonna survive the next few hours.
I
We have shifted it to the priority list of where are I. There's a hallway upstairs, sir, and it goes somewhere. And the two of them are not here anymore. And that door didn't open so much as it just. I'm having.
well, if could you help me to the kitchen?
Yes, let's not go anywhere near that hallway upstairs. Perfect.
Yes.
Yes, the kitchen.
I'd like to hit the kitchen and like root through the pantry. I'm looking for a broom handle or something that I can like lean into a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makeshift
In the
crutch. Okay.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
something sensible. I
in the
don't know
kitchen,
if
you yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
In
we'll
the
snap the head off a broom.
absolutely.
Man.
There's a broom closet with a variety of cleaning implements in there. You see a nice sturdy straw broom that
Mhm.
inverted with the spokes going up, you are able to reasonably use as a cane.
Yeah. I'm gonna move that shoulder bag to the other side. It's not heavy. It's just
You just want to risk stabbing your heart next time you fall 2 stories.
well, I mean, it's just like a chunk of iron, like yay big, but still, don't fall on it. It's a bad time.
Vicar, I dare ask, in what line of your work are you required to need an instrument of medieval violence?
It's not for violence. It's for pulling demon out of children. And he just straight eyes it to you
Just
through the pain.
1,000-yard stares me?
Yep. Down into your soul. Does not block your gaze, just right on at you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. I'm a man of a not amazing existence, and I can't really question that. There's nothing I have that is more solid than what he just dropped. So I'll just I'm gonna let that slide.
There is something truly unfortunate about this place.
Oh, agreed. Definitely. Half of this place is definitely going to your church.
Oh yes. The haunted things I believe you can keep. I think they're the things that your aunt really wanted to keep in the family.
No. We'll get those appraised, and anything that's of esoteric value, definitely the church deserves, and we'll have the wherewithal to deal with better than
Go-
I.
Looking in the pantry that we're in, is there anything that like so we saw creepy dolls and there was a crazy radio.
Oh
Is
God!
is
Yeah.
there anything like
out of place
looking at us?
here?
Is there anything looking at you in the
Is there
pantry?
haunted cloves or like garlic that's gonna
Haunted
climb?
cloves.
I
Like do
don't
they
know.
have shrunken heads from the Amazon? Like
Yeah, just conveniently hanging in the pantry.
Ears on corn, all that good stuff.
yeah.
There ears on corn. I love that. So looking around this pantry, you see bins of flour and sugar, baskets of onions and dried herbs hanging on the side.
You're just your basic village
And
Sundries.
stuffs.
you go and you reach your hand around one of the baskets full of potatoes from last year's harvest, and Cole, you go, "Wah!" and potatoes go flying. and the rat hidden behind the basket scurries out of sight.
Hmm.
Maybe we shouldn't look for monsters where they may not tread.
Well, I mean, y- I would tend to agree with you, but
Also, have you seen a book? I've this inclination. I think it's important that we find the book. It's just the book it's necessary.
what is the book?
It's the book.
Okay. Well, there's a library, and
I,
there's the parlor.
I got the vibe it wasn't in the library. I don't know. I feel like we should just have a look at look
Well, we,
through.
do you want to look down here, or do you want to look upstairs where our
I'll look
companions are?
down here, and I just kind of go out the next door that I haven't been through, wherever that leads.
I
Um,
stick with him.
that puts you guys
Manic
in.
panic, Mr. Limpy.
You have never been in the library. You have only. So Cole, have never been in the library. You and games room. You have only ever been in the den and studio. So you go
Den.
into the library. Vicar, you spent some time in the library earlier,
Yeah,
but you are now in the library.
I thought when I was leafing through like small copies of this and that was in the parlor or the study
Oh,
underneath
okay.
the deer head, but
That's absolutely fine. Now you're in the library. There's more
now
books. This
now I'm in the
this
library.
mansion has an extensive collection. It's honestly quite impressive. Many of them are first volumes. The reality is kind of settling with you in your less superstitious veins that there is quite a collection that's been bequeathed to the Church of England. Um, Not
Well,
entirely in line with the intentions of the church, and some volumes may need to be considered before they're admitted into your tomes.
realistically, anything can go into the it can be distributed out to the public. You know, I hate to say this to you, sir, but your great aunt was a vast consumer of just the most illicit pornography.
Illicit, you say?
Like she quoted me a passage once, and I had to cease her from carrying on, lest it make it to God's ears.
I'm sorry to say, Vicar, but the book club that I was assigned to needed to move product, and my great aunt, oh bless her heart, she assumed that she could redistribute again, but it was more of one of those arrangements where the more volume I moved, the more volume she had to move. And if anything, she would have had to have found some friends in the village to redistribute again themselves.
Her
the
her book
bright
club was famous in this area.
the bright light from the door transitions our scene from the men searching through the library at the pornography.
Oh God, the smut!
Ah,
Vicar, avert your eyes.
The other half of our group, Maeve, Roger,
yes.
having successfully located the door handle in the mirror across from the door, you were able. Did that make sense? You saw
Yeah.
the door handle in the door, and you were able in the mirror, and you were able to open the door.
Yes.
You were able to enter. You were able to enter in to a room. It is a semicircle rounded room with beautiful stained glass, letting in the sunset light that you had seen reflected through the window of the door that you entered. Everyone can see the door on the map, or the room on the map now, on the second floor map.
Yes.
Okay. So in the in the center of this room stands a wooden table, atop which is a beautiful ornate dollhouse, a perfect replica of the house you find yourself standing in, cross-sectioned in half so that you can see each section of the house reflected in it. The detail is exquisite, from the robin egg blue siding to the pictures mounted on the walls in each hallway. the carpets lining each hall, the furniture perfectly placed. And you would stop and admire this exceptional work of craftsmanship and give it its due time, were it not for the dozens and dozens of eyes looking at you from the shelves lining between each of the windows. Hundreds of porcelain dolls looking at you, unblinking, beautifully preserved. Yes. And the one in your hand, you look around the room and you see to the left of you a rounded table with a wooden box on top and a shelf of dolls, with one on the third row up, there seems to be a gap.
Hmm. It feels only right to return a lost child to its home.
Holding this doll, does Roger feel anything, sense anything weird? He's not prone to these kinds of things, but after hearing Maeve say that, he will look at the doll and say, "Indeed."
Um, Looking around, you feel uneasy. Um, and there is no compulsion to this. There is just you're standing in a room that shouldn't exist, in a hallway that didn't exist. And you look down at the doll that supposedly was talking to you, but you remember as you're thinking through what's happened recently, you realize that the voice has only ever come through the radio.
Maeve will take a second and address the audience of dolls and do a polite curtsy. Just out of respect. Before moving towards the dollhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, just looking at the dollhouse.
Sure. Roll me a spot hidden on the dollhouse.
For sure. Regular, hard?
Hard.
Could I help in
Hard.
some way? I don't know how helping or aiding in Cthulhu works.
If you can explain to me how you're going to help her look at it, are you going to also look around it?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll have you both roll a hard spot hidden, and I'll take the better of the two.
Okay. Yikes.
Okay. Maeve, with a 90 over 39, I'm going to say that you are entranced by the eeriness of this room. It feeds something deep in your soul, and you are too distracted to notice the inane details of the replica of this house. But with a hard success of 25 over 35, Roger Cadigan, that carpet in the entryway of this dollhouse has a blood stain on it. And there is a hallway to an upstairs room that you stand in now. And there is a fire in the study grate. Because man, hard success gets hard success results.
Looking around, Hadigan at this point has, for the most part, believes because he's heard of and had seen different mansions and manors through his work as a detective, that many aristocrats, some more eccentric than others, will sometimes build rooms and hallways that lead to nowhere. In fact, he remembers that in some part of the world, in the colonies, particularly within the states, a house was built by Lady Winchester and recalls strange news that women of that sort, or that particular woman of that sort, felt like they were haunted by ghosts or spirits of those that were killed by the rifles, and had spent their their well earned money, or their money, to build a house for that leads to nowhere. And looking at this dollhouse, um, almost eerily replicating the real house, he's going to look at the doll and then look at the room, and then he will look at Maeve, and he'll kind of stiffen up, leaning against his prey a little bit, and will follow with the weirdest sort of logic, almost like talking to a 5-year-old, or a child almost, and will say, "Well, you've led me here. You've led my friend here. We are here now. I see there is blood on the carpet. What happens if we remove the bloody carpet from the dollhouse?" And you will look actually at the dolls in the room and stare towards Maeve, and will look some more and look for where that hallway is. And then he will point it out to Maeve within the dollhouse. And then he will turn to the doll. "Would you like to return home?" And he will look to or where all the porcelain dolls are, and carefully and gently go, "Maeve, dear, could you please help me
Yes.
return this doll to its rightful place, please?"
Absolutely. It's
And he
also a
will
pleasure to hear that you consider us friends, Detective.
be passing. I am aiming for a McAbility.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I appreciate that. Maeve will just like as she turns around to kind of grab the doll, she'll take a finger and just wipe it across the blood stain on the carpet in the dollhouse.
And
Um,
as you do, your finger comes away with blood.
does the carpet look like it's been smeared? Does it regenerate? Does it?
The carpet is unchanged.
Okay. And I will take a moment, and as I reach for the doll, I'll wipe the blood on the detective's cuff, and I will return the doll to the empty spot on the shelf.
The doll sets into place, and you hear a small
Hmm.
click, and the entire room fills with what sounds like a soft wind of "thank you, thank you, thank you," and a
Of
swirl of
course.
mist. And then a small voice from behind you
Hmm.
says, "Thank you for returning her."
I don't turn around to look,
Okay.
but I do once again curtsy
Oh, Cadigan is looking around and wondering where the voices are.
and just, it is my pleasure to be of service.
Cadigan, I would like you to roll me a sanity check, please.
Damn,
Whoa! Roll 20 loves you all today. That is
not
a
me.
7 over 35. Well, yeah, at least you've got some logic on your side. Okay. What you see before you is a woman of approximately a 5'4" woman wearing the same accoutrement as the doll that you just placed down. She is older than the doll looks, but the skin is very fair, and as you look at the hands, they are permanently fused in that kind of doll holding motion. She looks, and as she turns to look at you, everything is very doll-like in how she looks at you. She looks at you and goes, "Thank you. We didn't know if you would be able to come, but we don't have another option. We had to try. Please, will you help us?"
Cadigan will look at this woman and cock his head. Well, I am a detective. This is my job. I am Detective Roger Cadigan. What is your name, dear, and how can we help you? And he will actually stiffly walk towards, just a pace towards this entity, thinking that they are completely normal, like this is some sort of hidden room. How long have you been in the house for, my dear? There used to be a family downstairs. Why haven't you joined us outside in town?
My name is Felicia Merlane, and I have been here for many, many years now. My family has lived here since the house was built on this spot, and before that, the sigil was placed. However, when we are the keepers of the sigil, and we protect it at all costs. The Merlanes will give everything for our legacy, and to protect our greatest treasure, which is, of course, the people of this town. We have been here since time unbidden, and yet our line grows thin. When last we asked Sylvia to join us, she strayed, and we need your help now. The binding that once held him grows thin. She renounced it, and now there is but one remaining of the line that must bind it permanently, or else everyone is doomed.
Can I roll occult or history to kind of try to piece together anything do I know anything about like the sigil or any sort of speakings about the Merlanes being keepers?
Yes.
Being that, I've been dealing in antiques and especially this brand of antiques in this town
and you
for
are
a while.
from this town for a long time. Yes. You can roll it and roll it for me.
We need
Hard,
your
regular?
help to bind him.
And you can take a bonus die on this because of your background.
Okie dokie. How do I do that?
So first roll it, and then you'll get an option to add a bonus die to it after you've rolled. Okay. So
bonus penalty in roll 20. I see.
Exactly. So you rolled a 38 over 37, and a 31 means you pass.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Oh, the dice are on our side tonight.
They are.
Barely.
Just by squeaks.
You had a 37 in occult. I think that's doing pretty good when you're working on it. Anyway.
In hard occult.
So, you have heard of on a success. You have heard tell of spells that can bind entities through the use of a bloodline. Oftentimes stories tell about, or like legends of these tell of the need to a continuation of that bloodline in order to ensure that the binding will keep, and that when a bloodline ends, it can release the spirits. The idea that Lady Merlane might have tried to break a line in the protection, and knowing that from what you know of the Merlanes, that Cole is the last descendant of this family, leads you to understand that they are probably under duress to try and find a solution to their problem.
On 3, everybody say it with me. The greater good. The greater good.
Hold on. Can we do that one more time, James?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. The greater good. Oh.
Did I get it right?
I can't
Yeah.
hear you, Vicar. I'm just leafing through
No,
these
no,
pamphlets.
he mustn't die. He needs to procreate.
And you plan to help him.
I hand him a pile of books and be like, the church doesn't want these. They were very important to your aunt.
The line has proven insufficient. We must find a new way to bind him.
Hmm.
If we cannot bind him, we all will be lost. The souls of the Merlanes are bound to our promise. We all reside here. This is our home. But if we are to let him loose, it will have been for nothing. Please help us rebind him.
My dear, who is him?
Is he?
If you don't mind me asking, or perhaps you can point me in the right direction as to this entity that you seem so deeply afraid of. Perhaps I can help in some way.
He is
And
the
sure-
demon. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And Cadigan's going to look towards Maeve and just kind of try, like he's trying to process everything. He's here for a murder mystery. He's trying to solve a case. And this is the only other person right now that he can see logically who can answer some of his questions.
He is the demon.
Can
Everyone roll me a sanity. You two roll me a sanity check.
Yeah,
Yay,
for
we're not in the
sure.
same room as
Hey.
the elder speech.
It's the demon
Hard
Wanahakalugi.
success. Both of
Okay,
us.
you both got
Oh
a
my-
hard success.
God,
I hope you all enjoy these
Close.
successes now.
stop asking to hear the true names of demons.
Hey, my whole job is to move demonic things around to make the world go interesting. If I couldn't handle hearing their names, I'd be out of a job.
So what you need to do is find a nice Protestant family with like 36 kids and be like, hey kids, want to bind a demon?
Yeah, that's how you do it.
I feel like that's the Monty Python approach to demon binding.
Right? This is a demon shop, so.
He is.
Yeah.
He is a demon of destruction and fire and burning, and has promised a lingering, painful death to all he encounters. We have sworn for millennia that we would protect the world from his rampages. Sealing him will not be easy, and we cannot do it without you. So I ask once more, will you help us?
Roger at this point will look towards Maeve,
Hmm.
finding that as much as he believes in a greater power and believes that there is truth in all things, as a detective would, he's here for the truth. He's not here to fall into any sort of madness. He just believes what is true. And at this moment, in this time, having seen the things that he has seen, he will say, I will help in whatever way I can. In what way does this creature or entity need to be sealed? How does this work? Does it have anything to do with the markings that are in that one room?
The music box starts playing in the corner of the room. As your words fill the air and your promise to aid, a swirl of mist surrounds the dollhouse and then surrounds the box. And the box slowly lifts. And Felicia looks at you and says, I knew we could count on you. Inside the box, you find 2 artifacts. Neon,
Mm.
can you open your box, please?
I can't.
Your window hates you, doesn't it?
It does. It turns out this is the first time in this office in like the fall seasons. Turns out the setting sun in fall loves to be in my eyeballs.
This is called the murder hour.
Yes.
If you're ever
Yeah.
driving on the highway west of the city at this time of year, this is when you drive off the highway by accident.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I have a small blue gem.
All right. Beautiful thing.
I also have a silver pendant
That looks like it fits small blue gem.
that looks like it fits the small blue gem.
It does look that way, and yet they are not together.
That was intentional. Very good.
Yeah, it didn't break en route. They were intentionally
Yeah.
separated.
They looked intentionally separated in the box.
Yeah, they are intentionally separated in the box.
Oops.
Hmm.
My ADHD hands went, these things look like they fit, and immediately put them together.
Oh, and sorry, did you put them together?
Not in game. My little monkey brain, as a person with ADHD, did that on its own. Maeve would not have.
But did Maeve?
No. Maeve has them separate.
Roll me a
I will
sanity
detach
check.
them.
Oh, God.
Why am I punished for my own?
Because it's Call of Cthulhu, and I only get 2 sessions.
My ADHD. Yeah, oh no.
Roll me a d4.
A D4. 1.
All right. You lose 1 point of sanity and do not feel a compulsion towards towards putting those together. However,
Thank you.
However, you do feel the need to add that pendant to the collection around your neck
Yes.
for safekeeping.
Yeah.
But you keep the stone resolutely
Separate.
separate from that.
I will find a way to separate it in the real world.
Don't worry
Give
about
me a
it. You're
minute.
okay. You're okay.
Consciously putting it in a pocket. With a great
I will
strain upon your
pocket the
soul.
gem,
Mhm.
and I will put the pendant on.
Okay.
It
It
gets added to
blends
my
pretty-
collection of necklaces.
It blends pretty beautifully in with your collection. Yeah.
Yep.
Felicia looks at you both, and says, Sylvia, which is the name of Lady Merlin.
I got it.
Sylvia was not able to complete the task. She was so afraid of the cost that she couldn't bear to complete it and instead chose to make deals with the demon. I will point out there was no cost mentioned before.
No cost?
Yeah.
Cadigan is going to look at Felicia and goes, would the cost be perhaps a doll?
She looks down at her hands and up at you and says, in a way. And Maeve, as you place that necklace onto your neck, you feel a tingling across your skin. And you look down where you had touched that necklace, and there
Lego
is
hands.
white coming across your hand.
Can I still move my fingers normal?
For now, you
Okay.
can still move your, but your skin where it's turning white is cold and brittle and porcelain.
Don't fall. It hurts.
Interesting.
You will only have a short time, and he already knows you're here.
I have a question for you then.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll pull the radio out that I have.
Oh, you have the radio!
And I go,
I forgot you have the radio.
Is this
Didn't mug me so much as got
Him.
given things.
is this a through line to him?
No. It was the only way that we could allow ourselves to be heard outside of the room. Our reach is short, And unfortunately, most people can't hear us.
Well,
But if you go to where he is kept and you find the book, you can seal him once and for all with that gem, and that you follow the spell in the book. You follow the spell to a T, and you will seal him forever in that gem, and our bloodline will be able to maintain it.
seal him in the gem. Now that sounds like an interesting time.
You will find him close by. And she lifts up her hand, and you notice a green light coming from the dollhouse. And if you observe the map for a moment, you see a green light. How do I make an aura? Gotta make a shape. Gotta make a shape. Bear with me, folks, while I make a shape.
You have to put a token down and then
there's
give
an
it a visible
aura.
aura.
No, I just drew a green square, a green circle. There is, on the side of the dollhouse, out in the conservatory, on the edge of the house, a glowing green light. For those of you downstairs, through the doors that lead through from the library to the study to the conservatory, with the slightly open doors that are allowing you to traverse, you notice that the outside has suddenly turned a little bit green.
The vicar puts down a copy of Tommy Knockers all of a sudden, and
Vicar, do you see that unsettling light?
I'm afraid I do, my good man.
I see. I'll have to look at this copy of Big Booty Ladies another time.
You mentioned a book.
Yeah, none of these seem to be it, I would think. These all do seem to be the smut that I've been peddling for years.
He comes over, like, kind of hobbles, using the desk as a kind of a half as a crutch. And he puts a hand and he says, "Only God can judge. But would you perhaps know a thing or two about stashing ill-gotten gains?"
If I knew how to hold on to money and ferret it away somewhere, I wouldn't be here today.
He looks around the library and he's like, "A drop? A receptacle? Something?" I mean,
Foreign words. What? It's all Greek, sir.
The vicar is thinking about, like, a false bottom in a drawer, and is, like, kind of tapping his way around things, not specifically going for things that are interesting. He's going for things that aren't interesting. A really big, unwieldy book that would potentially contain another book.
Okay.
Like when you're raised in a church orphanage, you get pretty good at squirreling things away.
What did you do in your youth, sir?
It wasn't pleasant.
You can roll me a spot hidden with 1 bonus die.
I will certainly attempt doing that. I am the worst at that.
I'm aware.
That is a 90 versus a 35. So an 81 certainly does not do it.
Okay. Would you like to spend a lot of luck?
Any of your copious luck?
Or would you like to push it?
I would push it.
All right. So, for those of you playing the home game, a pushed roll means that he gets a second chance to try this roll again, but if he fails it, the cost is greater.
Yeah.
Consequences.
There are no bonus die on the second roll.
43.
You have still failed.
Can I burn luck on the second die? Because that's a whole lot closer than 90.
Yeah, house rules, I'm going to make you double it.
It seems reasonable considering
16,
the
yeah.
pool you have to
Yeah.
work with, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll spend the 16 to succeed.
All right. 16 luck, and you succeed.
Yeah.
And you manage not to trip over the pile of books that have been gathering up and re-injure yourself greatly.
Mhm.
My goodness,
Um,
book stacking, vertical. It's like the poltergeist of 32.
um, and you do find a hidden bottom shelf under the desk, and as your fingers find the release clasp and it pops out, you find a handwritten journal.
Vicar, is it the book?
I couldn't. It seems to be a book, and I take a look and I open it.
The first entry is written from 1645
Jeebus.
and details the findings of Felicia Merlane. And as you flip through, you see year over year seemingly accounts of a number of members of the Merlane family and their trials of maintaining some great evil.
I believe we've stumbled upon your investiture, sir.
There is references to a book within this. However, there are writings. You seem to have found a reference book, which is useful, but not necessarily what you are after.
This might clear something up. It appears to document the history of your family. They seem to be in a war with demons. So on the right side of history, my good man. Quite. It seems it's been sealed to your bloodline. So it's fortuitous that you're here. And 1645, that is quite the heritage that you've inherited.
Vicar, how
yes.
much of that brandy did you self-medicate with?
Whatever you put in my mouth, good man.
I see. Yes, it might have been too much. Really? A book detailing the Merlanes as demon keepers?
I hand him the reference manual.
Start flipping through.
Cut the scene back to the upstairs. And Felicia looks at you both and says, no one has had to complete the ritual in a number of years. We will need the book. She sought to hide it, and I don't believe anyone but him knows where. But he knows where. Be careful.
Understood.
He should be bound until... He will be bound as long as a Merlane lives. And you, she glances at you, Maeve, have a limited time. I suggest you get moving.
If I were to attempt to take the necklace off, is the damage done? Or...
We have never sought to stop the curse.
Ah.
But may I suggest that you may find other readings within the book, should you come to be in its possession.
So to confirm, dear Felicia, Lady Merlane, Cadigan kind of furrows his eyebrows. This book is hidden. We will need to find it.
Yes. She explains to you that Sybil didn't want to be bound by the curse, that she was looking for a way out. And from their limited understanding, she seems to have tried to make a deal that didn't turn out the way that she had hoped. And instead of continuing to save the binding that they had worked so hard for generations for, she instead cut her portion of the line out, and now they currently have what is left of their binding holding this being.
Sad is the puppet that tries to pull its own strings.
And this whole time it's been very unnerving because Felicia is standing there, but she is a doll, and her eyes, her head doesn't move with you. It's just her eyes going between the two of you.
Hmm.
And then he goes, follow the sign, find the book, seal him away. Do not let our work be in vain. Now, I suggest you move while you can.
I don't
Cadigan,
intend on stopping.
Cadigan will follow Maeve and will look around the room once more, look at the dollhouse, look where the light is going through, and then nod, and then stiffly walk out where he came in through.
As you're leaving, Felicia's walking over towards a rocking chair sitting in the corner and places one hand against your shoulder, Maeve, and says, all of us bound by the curse may gain entry here. Should you fail, you will be welcome among us. And she goes off to sit down.
Are you still looking for your logic, detective? And I'll run my porcelain fingers across his jawline.
Roll me a sanity check. Her hand feels like porcelain.
Oh,
I'm afraid that we're beyond simple answers.
Cadigan has a cold sweat running up and down his face and his body. He is moving slowly but surely where he came in through. He's looking one step in front of the other. You can tell that this supernatural thing has touched his spirit and soul, and he is questioning everything that he knows as a detective.
Roll me a d6.
Yes!
All right. With a 3 lost on your sanity, please mark that off on your character sheet. Detective. Ghosts are real. Demons are real. You're the foundation of your very self is fractured slightly. And you have developed a tic where you glance around yourself nervously after seeing the faces in the mirror, the faces in the pictures along the wall. You can't help but nervously check around you for signs of these things, these beings that you know shouldn't be here, but you now cannot reasonably accept are not.
It's about time you woke up, detective. The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference. And Maeve will skip down the hallway towards the stairs, necklaces clattering and bangles now clinking against porcelain arms.
You have approximately 12 hours to your...
Sounds good.
Okay.
I also, while I'm skipping along, can I take the necklace off? Like physically?
Yes.
Cool. It doesn't stop the slowdown though, I'm assuming.
Not that you can tell so far.
Phenomenal. I am so excited. I will pull my long cardigan sleeves up over my hands just for the moment.
Okay.
As I make my way down towards the green light and the other companions.
Cadigan hobbling behind you. You can hear him like hobble down the stairs.
Hurry up, detective.
By the room with all the signs and things. He's just like, oh, makes sense. Book.
Vicar, is that the sound of our companions?
Ghosts are real.
What?
Things are real. Every time.
Detective, I encourage you to not worry about it.
Give a
After
man a
all,
moment, please.
they're always watching anyway.
And as those words come in your head, you look to your to your left, and there's a portrait of Felicia on the wall. And I won't make you roll sanity for that one.
He is hobbling so fast into the study like it's nobody's business, and he will go towards where
Detective, you look like you see a
Hello.
ghost.
Innuendoes and Vicar is,
Hello,
and he will look
Master
at Colin, and he will
Cole.
look right directly. You better not die.
Miss Stone.
I
Yes,
have
Detective.
had
Vicar.
worse wishes. In greeting. Hi, you're alive. Where have you been?
Look at what we found, and he passes over that small journal. Apparently, the
Interesting.
1645. There was a
Mind
woman
the
named
smut. Just there's piles everywhere.
named Felicia Merlane from 1645, and the Merlane family has been tied to binding a demon for all this time.
Please explain. Where were you? Where does that hallway lead? It shouldn't.
Ah,
Hmm.
we had a small chat with a relative of yours.
Goodness. Okay.
They're keeping the house.
No, Mr. Cole, the house must remain with you. There's some very
Brilliant news, I suppose.
important work to be done, and I fear that, unfortunately, your late great aunt, was it, has left you some work to do for your inheritance.
Neat.
I suggest, if you do or do not believe in spirits beyond, you should wear this ward. And I'll hand you one of the many necklaces off my neck.
Just a various piece of occult spookery.
Oh, no, there's a specific one I have in mind.
How likely is he to just take a piece of jewelry from someone that he knows understands the value of an object?
How expensive does it look?
It is beautiful, ornate, and old.
Silver.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's obviously seems to be missing a fitting, but I suppose.
I believe we will find that later.
Why is everyone convinced that ghosts and goblins and spooks are real? I mean, come on.
I
well,
suggest, Mr. Cole, unless you want to be talking on your radio again, that you put this necklace on. It is for your safety.
We're going to decide this with an opposed roll.
Sounds
Neat.
good.
I
All
do
right.
have training in fast talk.
You do.
I also have training in fast talk.
All right, fast talk it off. Fast talk it off, guys.
Regular, hard?
I'm going to give it a T regular. This is okay.
It doesn't matter if it's
It
opposed.
doesn't matter as long
so-
as you're doing it the same.
Gotcha. Regular.
There's no way
Let's
to,
go.
you cannot use luck. You cannot push.
Mhm.
What you
Okay.
get is what you get.
Sounds good.
And with a 68 over 75, Maeve wins.
I will respect your background and your fine talking points. Take the necklace from her.
It
Do I
needs to
immediately
go-
explode?
As you, I'm going to say you put the necklace on as was requested of you, and you feel a shiver of something down your extremities, and you look down at your hand. Goodness, in this light, don't you look pale?
I-
And you feel it, and you look at her, and her knowing grin. And you look back down at your hand, and you turn them over, and you see that at the wrist a joint has appeared with a little fitting. And I need
Oh,
you to
God.
roll me a hard sanity check
Yes.
because you weren't expecting this.
Is my
despite-
skin any different?
Give me a moment. And whoa!
Whoa. Nice.
Nice. Good job.
I
Critical
don't know if I should be
success.
proud or not that I have defied the gods and rolled a 1 on an 8 check.
So on a 1 out of 8 sanity, you don't take any wow, that is incredible because you only have an 8 left in your sanity. You look at this and you go, "Oh yeah, that seems right."
This seems appropriate considering,
Like this matches exactly the kind of day I've had.
right? This is just the vibe. This seems fitting, if you'll pardon the phrase. The puns. Yes, I deserve
Huh.
this. Okay.
And actually
Like-
on a critical success, I'm going to have you have a sanity of 8 right now?
17, that was a hard roll.
Right, it was hard.
Mm.
Roll me a D4. You may add a 1 to your sanity. You are so okay with this. I'm going to say that now for those playing at home, that's not in the book rule. That's if you roll a critical success, you should get something. Something.
It's a token. Yes.
Yeah, you are so okay with the fact that you're made of porcelain right
The
now.
fact that it's only 1 point and in being where I am,
Yeah.
starting where I was, that seems also appropriate, like in and out of game.
Yes.
Mhm.
Maeve,
Yes.
you look down, you watch his hand transition to porcelain,
Yeah.
and you look down at your own, and nothing at this time has changed
Okay.
on your hands. We will come back to you as
Yeah.
time progresses.
Sounds good.
Doll friends forever.
You are still within the first hour of transformation.
Ah,
So you
Miss Stone.
are okay. Go ahead.
Yes, Vicar.
This book seems to document the legacy of the Merlanes, and it speaks of another book somewhere else,
Yes.
yes, this is a book, but it's not the book.
an object of power related to some kind of, like, he gets incredibly just he's direct, staring you down. A lot of times he's just like yes, quite, but direct into your eyes.
Yes.
This pertains to a demon. A demon is
Yes.
being bound and kept from this world, and must be kept out of this world at all costs.
And
It's in the
unfortunately,
conservatory.
Vicar, the only person who knows where the book we need is the demon himself. And I will say that going forward the entire time, Maeve is clicking her little porcelain fingers together, just back and forth.
Well,
You know what? That seems apropos. Like just icing on a shit cake. Just feels right.
Yes.
While that may be the case, and it seems like perhaps Sylvia still had some undue influence in her end years, we
She
do have
did.
a renowned detective with us that may be able to help find this book in this house, wherever a aging octogenarian might have stashed it.
The
But
detective in
the
question
detective
is
doesn't-
drinking from like a flask, like heavily, and is now looking around the room looking for more brandy.
Vicar, I'm sorry. The detective does not believe in ghosts. This is not going to be his
Oh,
repertoire.
I believe in
I
ghosts.
wouldn't.
I believe in what I saw, and what I saw was not normal.
The vicar
Um,
approaches the detective and puts a too large hand on his shoulder, and it's like the squeeze is direct. He is just full on a man on a mission, no pun intended. And he says, regardless of circumstances and poltergeists or otherwise, you understand people.
Whoop, sorry.
You understand where a person trying to hide something would stash things, would squirrel them away, whether it's in plain sight or other. Only you have this knowledge to help us. I believe that you can do it. I have faith.
Faith aside, does anyone else notice that strange green light outside, or am I simply hallucinating at this point?
Oh, no, that's real.
I was trying not to think about it until we had come to terms with the reality
Enormity
of our situation.
Yes.
There
That,
is a
that is a
demon
word.
outside in the conservatory where the light is showing.
Oh.
A
Oh,
couple of dolls. A doll gave us that information.
makes this make much more sense, actually. Yes, I suppose.
You're so okay with it.
Cadigan is like in
Things just
between,
make
like,
kind of sense now.
Rosary beads.
I
if,
fear those will not
Ampules.
protect you.
if I could make a
Vicar.
quick suggestion, apart from the questionable intimate material that is here, any other books apart from in a library or in a study, if I were to try to hide something, I would be trying to bury it as far away from me as possible or burning it. So there is that. We found a doll in a fireplace. So they tried to burn it all, which didn't work out for them.
Detective, that room at the end of the hall with all of the sigils and string, the carpet in front that showed pacing back and forth, back and forth. What of the floorboards underneath the carpet? It seemed like a deliberate... I'm not...
A still beating heart.
Have
you read Poe?
I have, and that is an astute observation. But if I had trepidation of making a choice, I've often paced back and forth, wandering the halls. Maybe underneath that carpet is a place that we should look.
Could I make a quick history or some sort of like equivalent to an investigation, like memory? Because he's gone up and down the stairs like already multiple times. He's tapped the floors with his cane multiple times as well. Is there a check or something that I can make to point out a direction towards the vicar, while also looking for some sort of weapon or brandy? One of the two.
Okay. So I'm going to say you have, more than anyone else in this group, investigated that hallway a lot. There was no discerning difference in the sound of your cane along the length of that hallway, with the exception of the visual impacts of someone pacing along that hallway. As far as weapons go, knives and brandy can be found in the kitchen.
Cadigan will go, we have, save for tea, have not yet seen the kitchen. And it is in direct line of where that green light is. Cadigan is going to hobble towards the kitchen and muttering to himself while he's saying that, kitchen.
The kettle should still be hot, I think.
He's going to go towards the kitchen when we'll actually look outside and take a look where the light is coming, because there's a window directly where the knives are.
Yes.
And Miss Stone,
Yes, Vicar.
these are not implements to fight a demon directly. That's foolish. Anything that one can draw strength from and take solace in to retain one's mind is a valuable asset.
That's Stone.
I understand, Vicar, but I fear that your need to hold on to such comforts is quite childish. After all, in the great expanse of time, we are little more than puppets ourselves. It's just about learning how to see the strings.
I'm
Maeve,
quite
we're
aware
getting-
of where my strings are, thank you.
We're-
And he
we're-
hobbles away.
Skeening very close to the edge of literalism, I'm afraid.
It appears we are, Master Cole.
Detective.
I wouldn't say I'm the master of the house. No. I wouldn't. Please don't say that. That unsettles
The
me.
key for the front door weighs heavy in your front pocket,
God damn it.
as does the pendant around your neck. As the detective hobbles into the kitchen, and pours a tall glass of brandy,
That's
and
an
then
odd
pours
color
the
of tea.
and then pours the remaining into your flask. And as your hand grips the butcher knife off the cutting board, and you look towards the window, and through the window you can see, given how far the light is going, it should be blinding through this window, but it's just eerie, and it's coming out along the ground in lines away from underneath this window,
Oh.
almost as though it's coming from under something. The entrance to the conservatory is through the study down. So if you are looking at the map here, you go through this door down these stairs into the conservatory.
Mm.
Looking out the window of the kitchen door, you're able to see the finely trimmed hedges, the tall water fountain, and the family graveyard beyond.
Oh, ye gods. We kept a good garden, but I don't think we needed that much soil.
Out of curiosity, when he was in the main bedroom looking around, would Cadigan have seen any markings into towards the conservatory from that upstairs window?
You can retroactively roll me a spot hidden. It was late afternoon when you were doing that, and at a failure on a hard spot hidden, no, you didn't see anything out there. You were too high up, and you had glanced over at the grounds, made note that they were very well tended, but no discernible details.
Is it reasonable that the times the vicar has met with Sylvia, like through our relationship, that we generally took tea in the courtyard, out in the garden?
And it was nice. The Lady Merlane was always quite fond of her flowers.
Mm-hmm. Was there ever anything like a root cellar or anything off the side of the house? A lot of older houses had that, like
Yeah.
the double storm doors.
Yes.
Okay.
Just to the northeast of the building.
Uh-huh. I fear we may be looking towards the basement. There's a root cellar just out so. I know not if it was ever locked or anything of that nature. I never witnessed anyone going in or out of it, but the doors are outside.
I must say, lead on, Macduff.
Oh, no, sir. It's Leon. Leon. Quite, yes.
Look, I read smut for a living.
I hand him an actual copy of it from the library.
Good
It's
Lord,
like, see,
she had like a third edition Shakespeare?
very old.
And yet that
Take me
belongs
for a
to the
leak, my
church.
lord.
And yet
No,
that
not the
belongs to the
church.
church.
Oh.
Cadigan will look towards his companions and will look over. I am not a praying man, but if
You
I
should
were,
try it sometime. It's very good for the soul.
he's going to look blankly towards the vicar and say, I believe in your prayers then, good sir. Far better be it than my own.
I believe in spirits for the spirit.
I would highly recommend, as this highly concerns you, Master Cole, that whoever goes down there He's going to look for a whiskey bottle as well.
Just eyeing my shelves, are you?
Yes.
The last of the whiskey was used to nip up the tea.
Yeah, and
But
there's
you, but
like
this,
bloodstains and,
but
and
reasonably,
brandy
you think
nearby.
a thought occurs to you. You know, the really good stuff's usually kept in casks in the cellars.
He's going to think about that, and then he's going to find another bottle, like an empty glass bottle, and he's going to make sure that it's. He looks around. He takes the brandy and goes, "Taste brandy." Drinks it, and he's going to try to make a Molotov.
I like it.
Nice.
Hey. Okay, that takes a skill check. You are going to create a weapon.
Out of volatile materials found in a kitchen.
I am going to need you. I'm just looking through what we got. That is an awesome thing.
Cooking. No.
I mean, I think that's the first time. That's the first time I saw that skill used in GURPS that way, at least.
Where are you, Roger? Roger, what you gonna use? What do you think you would be using for this?
I would say mechanical, but the man is not mechanical.
Natural world
Mechanical.
for an understanding of
Natu-
chemistry.
Yeah,
Natural world?
sure.
Okay, sure, you can choose natural world. Let's do natural world. That seems reasonable. Do you have enough to push that? Oh, sorry, that can be at a normal, so that's a 10. So you're 65 away from passing that. Do you have 65 luck? Or would you like to push it?
I'm going to actually, because if we use the regular, I rolled an 11 versus a 10. I can expend 1 point of luck to succeed.
All right. You are able to create one Molotov cocktail that you are fairly certain is not going to randomly combust in your hand or shatter.
A lot of foaming involved.
So, okay, I gave you a knife and I gave you a Molotov cocktail, and you have I believe you have a rifle.
I have brass knuckles. Who had a rifle? You came
The,
strapped?
the police officer has a rifle. Yes.
Yeah,
A
that checks
rifle
out.
or a sidearm?
God damn! Just
sidearm.
zip it in a bag.
Okay.
So I am going to
I love
say
it.
that you cannot take both Molotov. You can't take both the bottle and the knife, and like you can't dual wield here. So which one would you like?
You got a cane.
Roger's going to take a look at Cole, the vicar, and then we'll look towards Maeve as well. He will look at the vicar and will say, "How good is your throw?"
As well as any person that wakes up at 4 a.m. and does calisthenics to greet the morning, sir.
Be
The
careful
Church of
with this.
Squats.
As he passes a Molotov to the vicar. Be careful with that. Light it up. If anything goes untoward, whatever it is that we need to do to bury certain hatchets.
The
As
vicar.
a smart man once said to me, "Das vidanya, don't get any on you."
Yeah. The vicar goes into the kitchen over near the stove and grabs a box of matches.
Excellent. I'd like to make one note that is known only to Maeve at this point.
Uh-oh.
There is very little outside of the books of value in this house.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we're clear on that before we continue. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Are there any candles about?
Yes. On the center of the island in the kitchen, there's an assortment of candles.
Cool. I will light one of the candles before heading off to the study. I pick up an old edition of what seems to be a Bible of some sort and return to the candle. I slowly rip out 4 or 5 different pages with that thin, papery paper.
The Book of John makes for great rollies, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we'll probably pull from.
Book of the End of Days.
No. Probably. Oh gosh, what's his name?
Cain and Abel.
Why am I pulling a blank? I've
Job?
been.
Peter?
No, not Job.
Paul? Peter, Paul, and Mary? I can never remember the apostles.
Who knows?
It's
What story are you pulling from?
doesn't matter.
What story are you trying to pull from?
It is.
As they're looking that up, is there
Isaiah. That's the book.
Isaiah. There we
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
the
So we're good. One moment, James.
Yeah. I collect some of the ash from the bottle of the candelabra that the candle is sitting in, and I use my porcelain finger to smudge occult runes over the Bible verses. I pour wax over the top of the page, just like the top corner, and like a little circle, little puddle. And I take one of my necklaces and press it to stamp the pattern from the locket into the wax. Hoping, anyway, to create some sort of occult, like, purity seal.
making promise rings for us, or
No. It's more of like an old-timey occult protection that lays outside of the good Lord.
An investiture of power, regardless of the charged words used to name it.
You can roll me extreme occult. And if you can pass that, I will give you something.
For sure. How much space is that?
You can also push it if you want.
Let's see if we can push.
Okay.
34 already?
Oof. Yeah,
All
that's
right.
worse.
You must take your second roll.
Yep. That's fine.
Do you have
I do not have
71
enough.
points of luck?
I do not have 71 points of luck.
Okay.
That's
Then
fine.
as you go to press the seal in, the edges of the paper, so you've pressed the seal in, and the edges of the paper start to combust. And they come in together. And you try to pull your hand away, and you can't. And the ash runs up the line of your arm and forms a sigil on your inner wrist.
That's
a sigil
fun.
you have never seen before. And you feel it singe into your skin and what's that called? Brand your arm.
Fun.
Leaving a raised scar on your arm.
No idea what the sigil is, though.
No idea what the sigil is.
Having never observed the occult in person before, bravo. Yeah. That's
Well, thank you, Master
good
Cole.
omens. Good omens.
beware your castigations.
Vicar, should anything... Actually, you know what? Never mind.
I'm just gonna put this out there, and he points over. He's like, using Bible paper to do this, like much easier to just use a notebook. Mixing energies, terrible form.
Tips and tricks, really.
You know, that's what people would tell you, but having
in my
powerful
experience
eyes helps.
All right. There's an ominous green glow coming from the conservatory. Oh God.
And as you say that, from the radio comes the sound of the music box as a full hour has elapsed.
Sounds good. Master Cole.
Cole, you look down at your arm and watch as the white porcelain moves up to your shoulder. And your whole face goes a little paler, and those watching you can't quite be sure if that is because you're shaken or if you're starting to lose color in your face. Maeve,
Hi.
you look down at your hands, and the white does not move. It does not recede, but
Mhm.
it does not grow.
This
Right.
is
Time is of the essence, I
something
believe.
I could get used to.
Yes. There's an eldritch glow coming from the conservatory,
Hmm.
but we do have a very good inclination from the vicar. I believe that the fruit cellar might be a logical place to unearth hidden the book, perhaps.
Yes.
What's everyone's inclination?
Well,
I'm inclined
I-
towards the fruit cellar myself.
There's a mudroom just over outside the study that leads into the courtyard. I believe we could procure a storm lantern to investigate the cellar, if that's
I
your.
believe forward. Forward is the best course of action. I agree.
I hear
with
2
you,
votes for
Vicar.
the cellar myself. Detective, do you have any seconding?
We'll need a lamp.
We'll get a lamp. We'll go to the cellar. Really good.
Hmm.
You are easily able to find a lamp. It already has oil in it, and with the matches that the vicar procured, you are able to light it and find
Yes.
your way out into the courtyard.
Mhm.
The eerie green light as the final notes of the music box ended, the green light has faded away.
Okay. As we walk towards the cellar, I am going to grab one of my multiple necklaces and pendants, probably a brooch off my cardigan, and just attempt to prick my finger and see if it bleeds.
Okay. I need you to roll a. You're just poking it
Yeah.
softly, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just enough where it
Um,
would break regular skin.
You push in and
Yeah.
you kind of twist it slightly, and you get a little bit of what looks like white dust off of your finger.
Interesting.
High five.
You don't seem to be able to pierce it the way you would
Yeah.
normally expect.
I will take the little bit of white dust that's collected on my finger, and I just trace it and trail it down the cheek,
It leaves white behind.
Oh my god.
and we continue to move forward.
Okay. Anyone else doing anything as you head up to the cellar door?
I'm arming myself with my brass knuckles and stealing my resolve. I don't have much else.
Okay. Detective?
Cadigan has already got his cane. He's got his sidearm ready. He knows where it is. He's got it actually, like he knows where it is. He's got his fellow members with him, and he's hobbling along towards the cellar where everybody is, keeping a very strong eye on Cole, just because he figures this is
Eternal
he's the
suspicion.
most important one right now.
Who's leading the way in with this lantern?
Oh,
Vicar,
the
you would
vicar
say.
is strategically got the lantern in front of me, and I've invoked the way of him leading us forward.
I did grab the light and know where that cellar is, so I guess it's me.
Vicar,
Yes.
you lead towards a cellar that you have seen before, and you would notice that it seems like there is a lot more muddy footprints around here. And for someone as fastidious as Sybil, that seems unusual.
Hmm.
But the footprints all seem to lead towards. The footprints are, at least in one direction, are heading towards that cellar.
Are they like Oxfords? Do they appear to be a small woman's slipper, or like the heeled shoe of a man?
Woman's slipper.
Dainty little steps in the mud.
I believe this is where your aunt was pacing to. Let's be about it then. And he holds up the lantern and double doors.
Double doors, no lock.
Reaches down and grabs one and heaves it back and walks it backwards.
You walk it back, and the air coming from below is stale and cool and musty.
Hmm.
And there are dark stairs ahead of you with no discernible source of light other than what you were holding. And bracing your courage, you all begin to descend down into the cellar, unsure of what awaits you. And with that, we're going to go to break.
I like it.
Mhm.
So,
Beautiful.
you guys are doing beautifully. I love it.
Sorry.
Okay, folks, we will be back here. You know what? We're going to do 8 on the nose for coming back here.
Sounds good.
So, well, join us all back then, and we will see how everyone makes out.
See you soon.
Bye.
Haunted waffles.
Haunted waffles.
Haunted waffles.
And we're back.
We can
Haunted
all
waffle.
vouch for the haunted waffles.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to to Waffle Talk.
Waffles of no discernible color.
No.
All right.
Would they be a
So-
color, James?
No.
They wouldn't be at
You
all.
do not need to invoke sand checks in the audience at this point.
It's
We'll save
Cthulhu.
them for
Everyone
you.
needs to roll sanity.
Welcome back, investigators. We are entering the basement of Widow Peak Manor, the home of the Merlanes, the keepers and protectors of a great evil, with the last member of their bloodline having collected a number of comrades through various means, as now kind of sort of, you're all going to go downstairs. I'm very excited for it, and led by the vicar down into the cellar. The floorboards under your feet creak and groan, but seem sturdy enough to bear your weight. And as you go down, 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 approximately 20 steps into the ground, a fair bit deeper than your average cellar, but seemingly necessary as you look around the room and see the large barrels of aged wine lining the walls. There is also, of course, the normal sundries and stores. But something doesn't quite sit with you down here. You were drawn here by a light, and this looks so ordinary, so normal. I would like spot hidden from all of you.
It's
Hard?
worth noting, Vicar, that nothing of value in this space is for
Regular.
Oop, regular.
Regular.
That's the wrong one.
Looking for anyone to win.
I got it. Hard success for me. Finally, once I found the
Really?
right thing to roll.
I'm just
Ma-
holding the light for everybody.
I'm going to burn luck. It's 2 points.
All right.
Hmm.
Sounds good. Anyone else want to push? Or at that, we have two successes. That's 50% success on your team. And you are successful in noticing a very, very faint difference in the flooring going between these two barrels here.
That flagstone's uneven.
I bring
It
the light
appears
over.
This is our stop.
You come up to it and you put your hand on the barrel, Cole, and it's so light. It seems like it would take barely anything to push this particular barrel out of the way.
Reasonably, anything that mechanically were set up here would need to be manipulated by an octogenarian.
Did you just call my great aunt old?
I did speak to her age, yes.
She was old, Master Cole.
He just has a tongue on him. Don't you notice it, right? It's so sassy.
He's a
And I
priest.
heave the barrel.
It is also worth mentioning that if we're looking for a book, this room may be a place that she might have stashed it.
Yes. I heave the barrel. I gesticulate at the barrel.
am getting sad.
will approach the barrel and with a little bit more strength that you would think he would have, will actually just knock it a little bit over, shakily moving it
Just
over.
a bash. Just a light bash.
I want to be very clear here now that you've decided you're moving it. And I'd like the both of you to roll. First of all, do you want to be quiet? Did you want to be quiet? And I will need a stealth.
That was not Cole's first thought.
I
All
will
right.
be quiet as much as I possibly can be.
Okay. All right. You were not
I'm being
quiet.
shushed. Why am I
Would
being
you
shushed?
like to spend 36 luck for you to have been quiet?
I do not have enough luck points for that. So
All right.
I will
Then
fail.
it was not quiet. It rolled across and revealed a wooden door with a circular symbol on the door.
The vicar leans into Maeve and says, "They don't seem to understand that loud versus quiet are just balances against law and chaos. And the actions that they're taking
You're not
have
even
impacts on
stage
everything that's
whispering.
happening."
I can hear everything you're
Oh.
saying, you sassy old man.
We're like 5 steps back, just being like,
The
Yeah.
occult are watching the normal people.
Dear God.
You know,
Cadigan is going to look at the symbol as this is
The
happening.
detective cringed. Like, I
The-
saw the
the
cringe
detective-
of, ooh, we shouldn't have done that.
the detective did just learn that ghosts were real today, Father.
that
I
is
would
fair.
suggest cutting them slack if it wasn't a time of importance.
There is always that.
Cadigan, the sign on the door is a circular symbol, in the center of which is the shape of a mirror. You saw this upstairs.
Cadigan will hum and will look towards Cole. Don't touch this.
Noted. I take dramatic steps back.
Cadigan is going to take a step back as well. And I think, if
Cowards.
I am a book, where would I be? I am an old woman. I need to hide a book. Where would I be? Could I use a psychoanalysis to look for this book?
Yes, you may. Regular. A critical success.
Yes.
Oh, the
Congratulations.
ones tonight. The ones, my God.
The dolls told you that he knows where the book is. The steps outside were muddy, and your line of thinking about that if you were going to hide something and you were an eccentric old woman, that you might bury it seems reasonable to you.
Her husband.
It seems reasonable that she would have buried that book to hide it. She lives next to a cemetery.
Oh my
The
goodness.
family
We
plot.
followed her tracks in the wrong direction.
Vicar, before we proceed any further, you said her husband and the family has a plot of land with the cemetery. Correct?
Yeah, it primarily is of a small plot of relatives.
You could hit it with a rock from here.
I can show you. It's just over yonder.
My gut feeling and instinct is if we are dealing with entities of other realms, we should just leave this particular spot, look for any sort of weapon before to arm ourselves. Knowledge is power.
He
And
says to
Cadigan
Rudolph
is actually going directly towards the door.
He's holding a rifle.
He's like, sure. He's holding a rifle. He doesn't know what demons are going to do. Like,
Vicar, I
Well-
believe the detective has been unnerved.
What's your thought process on this? Do we follow the footsteps?
I
Do
think
we...
the detective is hinting that the book might be hidden on the other end of the path of my great dead end.
Well,
if I
I'll get
were
my
an
shovel
eccentric
from my
old
truck.
lady, I would bury it inside a grave that they would know.
oh, there's
That's-
a utility shed out in the garden.
Oh,
And
good.
I will
be
remind
using
you
my
that you
shovel.
and I will remind you that you walked here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But regardless, Exunt,
You're
leave
right.
the door for the moment. It's spooky. It has a symbol on it. Obviously not a point of no return,
Yeah.
but anyways.
Head outside, leading with the lantern as we go.
Mhm.
I'm gonna keep it with me, even if it's just kind of coming to dusk.
Yep.
Rather than leaving it out, and lead the detective over towards the cemetery.
Okay.
Then I will grab the shovel from the utility shed. Then
You-
Oh, look
It's-
at that. A new
it's a
lawnmower.
spade for
That'll be
gardening.
nice later.
You grab a shovel
Mhm.
and you follow the path into the graveyard. There are rows of tombstones in this not it's a family burial plot. So while it does have a number of generations, it's not expansive. You are able
Mhm.
to find them. It's modest
Are they
for the length of
heads?
time they've been here.
Are they headstones or is there a crypt?
There are headstones here.
Okay.
I mean, we're
And
not made of money. That went all in the house.
and as you walk along and follow the steps, they on a one on psychoanalysis, because oh my goodness, you get to follow those steps directly to a very familiar hill. And as we shoot back into our initial scene on a hill with a tree and a freshly buried plot, we look just slightly north of that plot to the grave of Miles Merlane.
My great uncle.
Yes.
Also, with freshly tilled earth displaced. It hadn't seemed unusual to you when you were at the grave site. After all, they had dug out the dirt and put it on top of that grave.
Just an
In-
errant
to
shovelful, surely.
Absolutely, obviously.
Oh, Auntie, what a weird mind you had.
Is
Detective, if you wouldn't mind, and I'll hand you the shovel. I go, normally I get my acquisitions officer to do the digging, but he's not here right now.
The detective will look, stab his cane into the ground, grab the shovel, and he will look over to the vicar who has the Molotov bottle and the lantern and go. And he will shovel a portion
Indignantly as all hell.
very
The-
indignantly.
the vicar reaches into his pocket and clutches a crucifix and says a small prayer as we exhume the dead.
Vicar, are there rites for exhuming the dead unceremoniously?
Unceremoniously, no. If there were rites, it would be ceremoniously by the very definition of it being.
Yes, I see the catch-22 there. Yeah.
Yes.
They're dead. It doesn't matter.
Under his breath, you
My
hear
great uncle.
him going,
Meat is meat.
God, please.
It's not like he's
no,
using the book.
We're trying to help the demon. There's ghosts and all things unnatural. I will go to church if this proves, and then he will stop until he finds something.
Vicar, I believe
Oh.
the detective has become quite unnerved.
Detective, church does not help you.
You'd be surprised.
You
I
hit
have-
the top of sorry.
Go on.
You hit the top of a wooden casket. And as you start pulling the earth away, took longer than it should have because you did it by yourself and you had the poor disabled cop do the work for you. But that's okay.
I have weak nerd arms. What do you want?
You also were already under stress. I'm going to say at this point, detective, under no circumstances can you run. You are too exhausted from your climb up the hill, followed
Oh.
by digging out a 6-foot grave by yourself.
The hitch in your knee must just be the worst.
And you pull all the dirt away, and you are met with a medium brown casket, very traditional. And who would like to open it?
The honor is mine, and the duty as well.
You go to exhume the corpse of your late great uncle who passed away while you were away at war. You were unable to attend his burial, and he was too old to serve. And so a feeling for a moment kind of fills you as saying, I will have a chance to pay my respects. I will have this opportunity to give honor to my family, and that'll be great. And oh my God, what is that? Roll me a sanity check. Extreme.
Yay!
Do you have
Can't
8
luck a sanity check.
Oh, you can't luck a sanity check. That's true. You also can't.
Can't
roll-
push it either.
All right. Roll me a d6. Oh, you are lucky, my friend.
So lucky.
You are so lucky as you lose 4 points of sanity. Cole, in the flickering light of the lantern, your body hovered over this casket. You pull up the lid to expose what should be you've prepared yourself for a decaying corpse. You understand that he has been buried for a number of years at this point and should be decomposing.
You've seen bodies.
You've
I've
seen
seen
bodies.
bodies.
What you haven't seen is perfectly preserved white hands leading up over the arms, white porcelain features, and looming, staring eyes staring at you
Oh, the
From-
portent of my own personal death.
from a
Oh boy.
from a porcelain, perfectly preserved version of your great uncle. And clasped in his hands is James. Can you open up your box, please?
Haunted waffles.
The haunted waffle box, yeah.
Haunted waffles.
Oh, the Dutch in me is just spinning in its grave, I suppose.
Haunted waffles.
Good lord, it's carved.
Haunted
with
waffles.
You can't
Tentacle.
actually open it. Just so you know.
You say that,
No,
but it's
Please
pulling apart.
don't actually open the book.
Okay,
Matt Pookie book for the moment.
It will
like it.
fall apart.
that's okay. Like it,
It looks phenomenal.
100%. It's gonna
so-
live back there when we're done.
Again, total props to the props department.
Honestly,
Yes.
total props to the props department because that was the second. Anyway,
Did he
Props to
use
props.
jam on this?
he used resin.
Okay.
So it's a book with. Anyway, we'll have a director's cut where we talk about all. I'll bring him on stream and we'll talk about all the things he did to make these.
We'll make him babble excitedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really really cool. Okay, so Cole, you have found the mummified porcelain visage of your dead uncle and a book of very definitive
The book.
the book
The
nature.
book.
However, you did take 4 points of sanity damage, and dear, that means you get a new problem. Woohoo!
Scared of porcelain.
Problems are just opportunities in disguise. I promise.
Compulsive
I would
grave
like-
robber.
I would like you to roll me a d10, please. That is I can't
Is
read
high
it.
better or not? I can't
What number
remember.
is it? I
These
can't see it.
tables are
Probably just-
horrifying. It's a 9.
The 9. Okay. You have, and I don't want to do this again. So that's what you rolled last time. Roll it again. One more time. Do it for me one more time.
Yes.
I don't want you to have another phobia.
7 in it.
7. Okay. I like this. It's temporary. You grab the book. You are faced with your future.
Yes.
And you look down, and as you look into the unblinking eyes of your great uncle holding this book, you hear and can see and suddenly realize that you can see a film coming around your eyes before it finally locks in place. And every blink you give goes click, 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 and you grab the book in your very stiff fingers and you are running back into that house with the book.
You
You
thought
are
your
running
knees
away.
clicked before.
Oh.
Folks, he is running away.
Cadigan is going to go,
Well,
Vicar, Oh,
Don't worry, I've
Tally
got
ho.
it. I've got it. And I've
he
got
can't
it.
be alone. Don't let him be alone in the house. I can't run.
I pick up the detective,
Oh,
and like put a shoulder around him and hustle him back towards the home.
the
Does
detective will carefully take away the Molotov cocktail he provided to you, and just make sure that it's not.
it's merely liquor and a rag, good sir.
Yeah, it's
Cole,
nothing yet.
you are going to the safest place you know that will help you understand this. You are going to the room full of red strings, where everything should make more sense, because obviously all the answers to this book exist in this room, and you're going to go lock yourself in that room because it's the safest place.
It's the Rosetta Stone. It's got to be an answer in there.
But it's also a
Uh,
high place in the house.
Not
this
dealing with
other-
that right now. I
Okay.
will have a panic attack on the stairwell.
All right.
We are having
like
a temporary mania overruling his phobia, and then he's going to be stuck upstairs. It's going to be great.
Yay!
Maeve is gonna be right behind him.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Unnaturally
anybody
so.
tackling me, or are we just
No.
settling?
I'm
like
just
that?
like, by the time you turn around to lock the door, I'm in the room.
Like, I think if nothing has been communicated up to this point, Maeve is here for this. For
If-
everything
Maeve
that's
is down to
happening.
clown. She's vibing.
If nothing else has been communicated, anytime anything happens, you can assume that Maeve is right behind you.
You're like, oh, that looks pretty interesting. Let's go.
Yeah, it's the this is
It's spooky border collar energy. I totally get it.
curiouser and curiouser.
Which means that you are in the room when he locks it.
Yep.
So we will
got it.
start. We will start with those inside the room.
Maeve, I'm going to need you to translate. And I just start
Understood, Master Cole.
whipping open the book and flipping through it, I suppose.
All right, everyone are you also going to read the book, Maeve?
Oh no,
I mean, she
I'm
can
just
actually
standing
read.
there.
All
Oh,
right, great.
well.
Roll me an extreme sanity check there, Cole.
This is not my calling. This is not my object. It is his.
Hooray!
I'd like to point out the level of detail, because this is a book by Mark Morris called Wrapped in Skin.
Yeah.
Good horror.
It's definitely a failure.
Cole, you open the document, or you open the book, and you see writings in a language you do not speak. Scrawled in the corners are etchings of varying amounts of fading. Some look very old, some look a little bit newer. This book has obviously been studied. But what's much more important than that is how much sense it makes. How obviously, this book was meant for you. Obviously, no one else could possibly have any use for this book except for you. And you will protect this book with your life.
Oh, absolutely. It all
And
finally hits.
there is a deep bass tone. But you know how when people have tinnitus, they have a high-pitched squealing in their ears? You have the opposite of that. There is an underlying bass tone to everything you hear.
Throat singing.
And you feel very strongly that this book is yours to protect. And anything that would harm the book would harm you.
Exactly.
Hmm.
It all makes perfect sense, Maeve. We are
Maeve,
in the right place at the right time.
while Cole is flipping through the book, Maeve attempted to just hide herself somewhere in the room out of his sight.
Just definitely out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
Cole is
As you-
perpetually haunted by the ghost of a didgeridoo now.
He is he is smiling at you. He has lost 5 sanity points. Cole, can you mark that down? And he is marking signs into his arms.
Into like the porcelain, he's like carving them in.
Folks, we've hit single
He-
digits.
He is drawing. He's drawing on the porcelain, and on anywhere that he can touch skin that still exists, he's
Okay.
trying to etch into it. So the way that you were able, he'd be able to carve into his porcelain hand.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
of note, the brass knuckles, I've always envisioned them as just a leftover trench weapon. A slab of brass. You've got a spike on the bottom and a spike on the top. They're meant for cracking helmets and getting work done.
Yeah. So now he's got that, and he's just carving symbols into his arm.
Yeah. I'm hidden in
Making
the room.
notes for later.
Yeah.
I am hidden. I am trying my best to stay out of his way and out of his sight. I am here to observe,
I want
but not to be observed.
Okay. I want a spot hidden from Cole. I want a extreme spot hidden because you are very busy, and I want a normal hide stealth from Maeve.
Success.
Great.
Detective
You
and
are
I are like, hoof.
I'm enraptured in my book.
All right. Maeve, you are not seen in this room. You are perfectly hidden against a wall.
I am slightly distracted. So yeah.
All right. While you are making notes for your future, we turn to the people outside the room.
I appreciate your life form, good sir.
Thank you, Vicar. I appreciate you as well. He's going to take the rag from the Molotov bottle and down a bit of the Molotov, and then he goes, fine.
I understand that this is troubling, but perhaps we should keep our wits about us.
Yes, I am becoming very exhausted and time grows short. Believe we don't have much of it. I'll let you handle some of the talking, good sir.
Of course. What? This isn't right. None of this feels right. Normal people don't have these kinds of experiences. It may be for the best that we take Mr. Merlane away from this place.
Indeed. The doll said that there was a
The doll?
seal, ghost, whispers, words in the air.
Poltergeists, understood.
I'm not sure exactly what they are, but they mentioned that the creature that is in that space in the cellar that we were just in, hidden deep underground, I suppose. They mentioned that there was some sort of spell to seal the creature into the necklace that Miss Stone has. I am willing, after what I have seen, I'm more than willing to presume that there's some logic in that, but if you believe there is something not right here, I will lean on to your understanding. This is beyond my purview as a detective. This is not in the notes that I was given. All I remember was that there was a body carved with markings, and we need to protect Mr. Merlane at all costs for his questionable amount of sanity that is left and remaining.
Again, I place a hand on the shoulder and say, I have read through numerous tomes of similar sorts of scenarios. Can I roll occult and see, based on what the detective's saying, would it seem right that a powerful entity could be sealed in a necklace?
Yes.
Okay.
You can roll. Yes, you may roll occult to see how you feel about it.
Regular, hard?
We'll make this regular for you. This is your whole background.
Yeah. 35 on a 98.
It is
I wonder.
there have absolutely been stories of artifacts strong enough to hold them, but the spells required for that must be conducted properly or else they risk huge failure.
Mhm.
It is not ideal. Normally binding circles are preferable to trying to bind any entity into something smaller than its own physical form for the risks of them not being able to be withheld there.
And our understanding is that currently that demon of Mount Wanahakalugi is in a binding circle under the house, but that spell will only last as long as a Merlane is left alive.
Yes.
Correct.
And I'm
And-
gonna yeah. She's told you everything that the dolls.
Okay. Given his state of metamorphosis, how alive is a porcelain doll?
The ones that I talked to was pretty alive.
From the 1640s, huh?
Indeed. And apparently Lady Merlane was involved in making deals with entities below. Something I assume you're more than
I
able to understand.
feel conflicted in suggesting this, but what if Mr. Merlane's transformation is allowed to complete, and he is placed with your doll friends, and the house sealed off from the public? The binding circle, as I understand, based on my studies, would remain as long as he existed.
I believe the dolls themselves are not completely alive. As you saw, the gentleman in the casket
Then
that
why
we
would he
exhumed was a doll.
why would he be transforming at this point then?
Curse, apparently.
Hmm.
This is beyond my understanding, Detective. I've seen things here today that make the war seem like a dream.
I'm going to offer a point of clarification just to be sure that we are all on the same page. The doll, I want to make it very clear that without a living Merlane heir, there cannot be the demon can't continue to be sealed. It relies on the bloodline. And so they need a living Merlane. And so they've tasked Sybil with finding a different way to seal the demon.
Sybil or Sylvia?
Sylvia, sorry, I'm changing names on us. Lady Merlane was tasked with finding a different way to seal him, and she instead tried to make deals with him. Is what you have been told from the dolls.
A living bloodline.
And now you have one chance to reseal him.
A living bloodline, not necessarily a Merlane.
That is the terminology. And there's a book in a room that seems important to various rituals.
I believe...
She's got the book that we were finding. Sorry, continue, Vicar. I keep interrupting you.
No, this can never be simple. It's always the innocent that are preyed upon, and I think of poor Mr. Merlane, who's never done any harm to anybody in the world and is just being thrust into this as a...
Wouldn't hurt a fly.
Innocent boy. If his affliction continues, I believe we're even shorter on time than you think of. Do you have any children, Detective?
I do not, but I do have my sister. I have a niece who is as close to me as a daughter would be. I share a very close friendship with her. She was in finishing school when I last spoke with her.
I have a sister as well. She resides at the sanitarium, covered in many of the symbols that Lady Merlane was as well. Scars left over at this point. Her plight was what sought me to the church in the first place, witnessing a bishop come to our home and exorcise her of her demons.
How are you related to Mr. Merlane?
I'm not specifically.
How is he?
There's no blood relation, but I suspect that the things that we saw in that room are related to demonology.
Indeed.
Specifically a form of possession of which I'm intimately familiar. And although specters appear, they are of a very different nature. Most specters just haven't moved on. They may have... the term unfinished business comes up from time to time. But I feel that we would be best served in keeping that book away from Mr. Merlane, getting him away from this house, and if necessary, one of the two of... Has the vicar ever spoken with Maeve about family? You know?
Sorry, yeah, it took me a second to realize that that's my character's name. I was like, interesting conversation. Probably, yeah. I think the vicar probably tried to have a conversation with Maeve about family.
Mm-hmm.
And probably learned that Maeve doesn't really have any family members.
Okay.
But has a longtime friend named Booker who works with her, and they've been friends since childhood.
Okay. I feel, Detective, that perhaps Mr. Merlane won't be able to continue his line for much longer given his affliction, and it may fall to one of us. And that's troublesome in a number of directions for a man of the cloth. Why don't we see to him?
If
Oh,
you
no,
have
I
the
just
strength
picked
to
up on a
open
line
the
of reasoning.
door, I believe he has the book, and he seemed rather possessed of it.
Detective, you do still have the key to the store, by the way.
He opens the door.
Click.
Hello! I've discovered all the answers we're ever going to need, I say, dripping in my own blood, having carved into my own arms and legs.
You see the visage of the of Colmer Lane, but seems almost as though an animatronic doll. His face is fully white. His eyes are the only part of him, it seems, that look normal. The rest of him fully transformed as he holds the knuckles in his little claw hand, drawing.
Oh, sir.
The only part that
Should
was left.
we roll a sanity check for that? Like a
You
very
sure
hard,
do. You sure.
hard
Let's do that.
one.
I feel like that's hard. Yeah. Yeah. Your friend's a mannequin.
Critical
Whoa,
success.
John.
I love these spicy
Okay.
ones.
All right. Now, Maeve, I'm not making you roll
Yeah.
this because you fully knew what was going to happen to him.
Oh yes, absolutely.
You don't have. You've been like sitting here, like enjoying.
She's personally
the
succumbing
process.
to it
Like,
and
Yeah.
hiding from me. Yeah.
I think if anything, I would have tried to assist John and the detective finding the place by knocking on the floor in time with the scratching of
yeah.
We're
Cole
here.
into his own arms,
I
kind of creating noise, but not noise that would be suspicious to him.
Right. Which would explain why they got here so fast.
Yes.
He's holding the book around one arm, completely porcelain.
Yeah.
Sir, I can assure you that God will have mercy on your soul. I understand that you believe that you found all of the answers that you look
No.
for.
It's fine. It's fine. God has no power here.
Ah,
I do.
The vicar reaches into his pocket for that wrought iron,
Mhm.
Oh, jeez.
and you feel a really hard squeeze on your shoulder, the way that he's been doing since the very beginning, almost in an unsuspecting way because it's so familiar. And he says, "We'll make sure you're taken care of." And he swings down that piece of wrought iron hard against Cole's other porcelain arm that's holding the book in an effort to shatter it with a big steel or iron chunk.
Wielding the metal that not but a few hours ago, Cole used
It's a
Cole
little
removed
ironic,
from your
isn't it?
body and tried to heal you from. Oh my goodness. Vicar, you need to, you know what?
I-
It's porcelain. I'm not making you roll for
Yeah,
it.
I have
You
no attack
shatter.
skills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you shatter his arm and it crumbles away. And it
Oh dear. That's not good.
inside, you feel a cracking as it goes up along the side of your face. Porcelain is incredibly fragile. You don't often find a weak and delicate. You don't often find a weak spot that doesn't impact the rest. That crack that you intended to hit his arm with travels across his chest and down his torso and completely removes his legs.
Careful,
And he-
Vicar.
And he where you're holding him on his shoulder, you are holding up his torso and head and his other arm as the rest of him crumbles to the ground. And you are still conscious.
I pass the book to the detective and cradle Mr. Merlane.
Cadigan is going to look between his cane and the Molotov bottle in his hand. Miss Stone, if you could, please.
I appear right behind the detective.
I've gone to pieces.
It looks
Oh,
like you need a
no.
hand, detective.
If you could, please, Miss Stone.
And as the porcelain hand reaches out to take the book, Detective, I need you to roll me a sanity check. Oh, an extreme one. This is a lot in a really short period. Yeah.
I will use my luck points to
You
make
can't.
that a success.
You
Not on
cannot
sanity.
use luck on
Not
sanity.
on sanity.
Roll
Oh
me
yeah,
a,
no, he's
roll me a
gone
d6.
crazy. It's going crazy.
Okay. All right. So you lost one. That's okay. 1 point of sanity down. That's honestly okay. You don't suffer any additional afflictions from that. But I will say you continue to be shaken up, but you're able to shake it off and continue doing your job. Vicar, you are holding the slowly crumbling body of the last of the Merlanes in your hands.
Miss Stone, I believe that we're running slowly out of time.
I believe that you accelerated that time quite a lot.
100%. As I
You should be careful
understand
with
it,
your dolls, Vicar. They break easily.
I've never
Stop
played with them.
mincing words. There's a spell in that book. Believe
I
me,
Master
I know.
Cole,
I've seen
I
it.
believe if we trust the words of these poltergeists, that a living bloodline is required. Do you have family?
Me?
You.
No. The closest thing I have is lichen, and well, I highly doubt we can secure the secure the seal of a demon with the bloodline of a cat.
I look at the shambling, like trembling hands of the detective holding that book, and Miss Stone, what must I do to take that bloodline curse onto my own? From Mr.
Well,
Merlane.
Master Cole, you read the book. Did you learn anything?
I have the power here. But I don't speak Greek.
Of course not.
This
That
book is
telephone.
written in. Oh, go ahead.
The telephone. The radio.
Yes.
Who still has the radio?
Me.
Could our porcelain friends help us out? Could they instruct us?
I
in how to-
believe they could, but I fear I am short on hands at the moment if I'm going to look through this book myself, Vicar.
Cadigan is going to find a spot to place the book down, away from Merlane,
Mhm.
like on a ledge or somewhere in the room where it's away from Merlane, but it's visible. And he's going to grab, because right now he's the only one who can move. He's going to go, Miss Stone, if you will allow me, I will. Do you mind if I search your person
Search my person.
for the phone?
Oh, it's
the
right
radio.
here, and I'll pull the cardigan open, and in one of like the inside pockets, it's just sitting like with the antenna sticking out of it.
He will
by all means,
pick up
detective.
he'll pick it up.
It's slimy for some reason.
He's gonna
Of course
rub it
is.
on the remainder of your cardigan.
It doesn't
Thank
help.
you, detective.
No, it doesn't.
I believe that would have been the marmalade that I had earlier. The jar broke.
Pleasant. Well, we have but one call, yes, to make.
Turn it
Do tell
on.
the lady of the house I say hi.
He's going. Cadigan is like, I've seen some stuff. I'm going to turn it on now.
Come in. Lady Merlane, come in. Have you found it? Did you find the book?
Yes, we have found a book. Yes, the book in a dead doll's hands. If you
Is
things,
the seal preserved?
For not for much longer.
what my colleague said. Not for much longer. The last living Merlane is currently in pieces.
You cannot fail this. We will all suffer for it. Please, we have searched for years for the final piece. Tell me what the sigils say in the binding spell.
Is there any way for me to put Cole down without him crumbling to bits to help with this?
Here, Vicar. Can I attempt? I'll take my cardigan off. It's very long. It's soft. And can I attempt to like baby Bjorn the porcelain torso of Master Cole to the Vicar?
Yes. Yes, you can do that. Yes.
That's an image.
Yeah.
And being that I am an antiques dealer who deals with very delicate, probably porcelain objects fairly regularly, do I get any sort of bonus to that?
You do. You do get bonus to that.
Excellent.
What are you gonna roll for me?
I
for
don't
baby
know,
Bjorn
ma'am.
and porcelain.
And archaeology?
Dexterity, I would hope.
Yeah, Dex. Let's do Dex.
Just straight decks.
Just straight Dex. Normal roll. And then
Ma'am?
you want?
Can I
Let me
push?
ask this. Do you want to push this?
I would like to push this.
All right.
And now we have a new story of how Ken's character died.
Hold on.
Smothered in a Bjorn.
Can I spend luck?
Ooh.
You
You can
spend
on
double
be-
on a pushed roll. We established
It's
earlier you're
double?
spending double luck.
Oh,
Do
never
you-
mind then. No.
Do you? Okay. Just because I established it earlier and I have to be
Yep.
consistent.
You
All
have
right.
Absolutely.
40 luck?
No. That's all my luck, my guy.
Since
Well-
she's trying to affix him to me, can I spend my luck? I got a lot. I can only imagine. I'm like,
we're-
all right,
we're
come
in-
on now. Just
We're
like,
an hour away from the end of our last episode of Call of Cthulhu. No,
okay,
you cannot use your
all right.
Well,
Maeve.
yep.
You go to secure the ever crumbling body of your friend,
Mm-hmm.
and you try to be gentle.
Yeah.
You try to be soft, and I'm gonna say that in this case you were trying to put it on the vicar's back
Yes.
to stay
Sure.
out of his way, which is why you can't help
Yeah.
in
That's
this
fair.
circumstance. And you tried so hard, but it keeps snagging on the cracks. Your cardigan has a lot of loose threads, and as it catches in them, it slides so easily through the thin porcelain. It seems thinner near his face. And before he starts, the final piece kind of comes off. There's this moment of realization of what's about to happen, this moment of clarity as the two of you lock eyes. And Cole, what do you say?
I think I knew that this was going to happen.
Farewell, Master Cole.
We have
There is-
faith.
There is a deep rumbling under the building, and the walls around you shake. Some of the pins in the walls pop out, and some of the strings fall down as the last living bloodline of the Merlane family passes away in the home. The lights around you flicker and go out, and you hear that deep booming bass tone echo through the house. And you hear a voice come through the radio. You've run out of time. You have to seal him now. Someone must continue the bloodline.
Cadigan will go, do the spell. Quickly, someone do the spell.
I
will
guess
take
I
on the
owe it to
curse.
them.
Miss Stone, shall we? And I offer
Yes.
like my arm.
I flick my now porcelain dust covered cardigan out before swinging it back over my shoulders.
Oh, I got in my mouth a little. Oh, he's
I'll
in my
pick
mouth.
up the pendant,
Absolutely
From-
honking your ass.
the collection of clothes I'm assuming is now on the floor,
Yep.
and I will pocket it. And I will
Um,
go over to the desk where the book is. I will place the gemstone down next to the book.
And as you do,
Hmm.
a new voice comes over the radio.
Oh, okay.
I know all the spells in that book. I just can't read them. But my family can. Cole, you have joined the consciousness of your family and may participate as a spirit on that walkie-talkie.
Master Cole.
You cannot see. You can only speak.
It would save us some time if you could direct us to which portion of the book the binding spell was in.
I believe it was on the 27th page where I saw the final answer.
With very inhuman fingers, Maeve will flick through the pages to exactly 27, with all the practice of somebody who does their own book keeping.
This book is written in Latin.
I know Latin.
I know Latin.
I need to know who is reading the spell.
Mhm.
If both of you are, we'll treat it as a help and you can both roll it and we'll take the
Yep.
better of the two rolls.
What's your Latin at?
60.
Mine's 53. I didn't pay that much attention in class. I'll help you.
Okay, will help. So I roll
'Kay.
twice and take the better? Or we both
Roll it at hard. Roll me. Yeah, you can roll it twice at hard.
Okay. Latin.
I think that's how it works.
5. Extreme success.
Whoa!
Booyah.
Extreme success. Okay. So you are
On a
flipping
hard
through,
roll too.
we're flipping through this page. You are reading through it. You're looking up at the walls, and things are starting to make sense. Roll me an occult hard.
With help from
Yes.
Vicar again. Extreme success again.
All right.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. So you are reading this. Everything makes sense in a way that you feel like you've been preparing for your entire life.
And so we meet at the dawn of a new time.
Blood of the line, stone of the land, song on the wind, and bind the soul within. Steps, someone must bind their blood to that stone with the blood of that demon while playing the song from that music box, because that's 2 extreme successes and you get all the things.
Okay.
You
Blood
need the
of
music.
demon.
You need the music box, blood of the new line, blood of the demon, and that stone.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, Miss Stone,
Yes.
and say that. And he pulls out a small jackknife. That was his one personal possession.
Oh shit, he's armed.
He says, actually, not even. He opens up his coat to the seeping blood into his shirt. And
Conveniently.
the reason he didn't help the detective dig is, stitches.
Sure.
I think it should probably be me.
No,
I'll go-
Vicar. Are you sure?
I'm a little younger than you, and I mean, the church is getting more progressive these days about taking a wife.
You're a vicar. You can get married. It's fine.
Think of the timeline.
Think of the timeline.
Think of the timeline.
With all due respect, Vicar, I believe that if anyone here were to hold a bloodline, I would have a better time about it.
It just
I
says
don't know.
bloodline. So what if all 3 of us use it?
Divide the burden.
That
Could
seems
be interesting.
That seems reasonable. Am I the only one that's thinking that the puddling blood at the front of the door is the blood of the demon?
That could be it, yes.
That's my suspicion.
I never got a chance to taste it. Does somebody want to taste it?
I think Maeve
It's
tasted
underneath
it.
I
There's cheese.
tasted it. Actually, I did, canonically, at the beginning.
Was it spicy? Why is
Was
it
it demon
spicy?
blood?
Oh my god.
Like, now that I have other pieces in place, does it taste like demon blood?
It tasted like other blood you've tasted.
I've tasted a lot of blood, demon and not.
Mr.
You
Merlane,
didn't. Okay,
Vintages.
if you're gonna try and differentiate on, it tastes like human blood.
Okay, for sure.
Mr. Merlane, saying through the walkie-talkie, do you think you'd be able to play that music box song for us?
Just go get the music box.
I don't know where it is.
He
They
has a
do.
point.
It's in the room. Isn't it?
The music comes through.
Oh, well. That's convenient. Thank you, honey.
Your
I-
family
Like
hates
my
you.
great grandaunt No, you'd be like my great grand aunt or something. Just pissed me, I'm sure. Back to that thing.
Somebody hits you in the back of the head, you don't know who. It's spectral.
Spectrally dark.
I say this with ultimate conviction. Any transgressions that we may commit here, releasing a demon into the world is a far worse plight for humanity.
Yes.
I like your suggestion, detective. Share the burden. share the load.
Then it seems we have a demon to get some blood from.
Oh,
Is
Vicar, mild warning. Now that you're going to be the sole inheritor of the estate, or at least the church will be,
Oh,
there
don't
are
worry
some
about
debts
that.
in London. Specifically, some people who are after me about book sourcing materials.
I will actually, upon Master Cole talking briefly about the possession of the house, Maeve will just kind of slowly go back over to the pile of clothes and grab the deed from in one of the pockets and just pocket it in the cardigan somewhere.
Just mugging me from beyond the grave.
Sounds like a plan.
Beside the deed, you see the necklace lying on the ground.
Yeah, I already pocketed that. The moment he fell apart, I grabbed it
Oh,
and
okay,
pocketed it. Mhm.
Cool.
so where are we? We
Keeping
have a
track
music
of all your
box.
artifacts.
Yeah,
we have
I've
a
got
music
most of them.
box.
Yep.
We
I
I
have
think I
will-
have all of them.
Yeah,
we have a
You just need
stone.
demon blood.
we just need demon blood.
I'm bleeding all over the place.
You're not a demon.
Well,
I'm also. Can you give me that knife?
Oh, sweet God.
Hands you my jackknife.
Cuts his hand. There. Now I'm also bleeding.
We could have waited to do that, and then you wouldn't be. Oh, all right then. And he puts it away.
Maeve will just like kind of bouncy, kind of excited about the whole ordeal. Just take the gem and like scoop some blood out of the detective's hand. Go
Mhm.
like rub it next to the wound of the Vicar.
Mhm.
And then
Do you
just,
do
like
the
take
like
a moment.
sexy bite your lip vampire thing to get blood?
Yeah, I can't get blood from my hands, so yeah,
That's what I was
kind of
thinking,
the
yeah.
deal. In fact, actually, she reaches to one of the pendants on her neck, and you can see there's a locket that has multiple small iron nails driven through it. And she pulls one of the iron nails out and just pops it through her cheek, and pulls it back out and just wipes the blood onto the gem.
Not the
Great.
worst thing that I've seen all day.
It's efficient. And she'll slot the nail back into the locket.
Detective Cadigan, who has never in his life figured his career would go this way. Guess I switching my career to demon hunting. Let's go.
Preventative maintenance, we'll call this. And he
You
leans
and
on
I
his
have
broom.
an interesting relationship ahead of us, Detective.
Gotta.
Cadigan
And-
grunts uneasily as he goes down the stairs.
Try to keep up. And maybe we'll start making it towards the cellar, because I'm assuming that's where we need to go.
The vicar hobbles along with the detective.
Does this mean you folks are going to be a mystical throuple?
No.
Propagate that line, baby.
So you
Anyways.
continue down to the cellar.
I mean, Maeve aims to be immortal, so...
So we get down to the cellar. You go down the stairs. So many stairs for so many injuries. Yes.
And the proper term is triumvirate.
Oh,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes, that's right. Yes.
And you come to the cellar door with an image of a mirror in it. And no handle.
The last time that I dealt with these mirrors, they didn't take kindly to me, friends.
I will reach into my necklaces and find one locket that I pop open. There's a small mirror in it.
Mhm.
And just like very much Perseus, aim it over my shoulder at the opening and see if the wall is still there.
It is not. It is just an opening.
In we go.
Oh, it's a platform 9 3/4 up in this bitch. Gotcha.
That is way out of
Can
That is an
Vicar,
out-of-pocket reference.
out
sir.
of time.
Yes.
Is that
no, no,
a
no,
quote?
No,
no.
I meant
from
that
your
for
book?
Melissa, not for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look. I'm just saying.
I like it.
Not Hogwarts.
No.
As you walk through the portal, you are greeted by red candlelight,
Mm.
and you glance up. Now, the layout of this isn't quite right, because as you glance up when you first walk in, you see not a demon, but a familiar detective, a familiar view. But how could that be? How could she be here? You buried her. The body of Lady Merlane is bound to the ceiling. Her What's happening here? Maeve, stop doing math.
I'm sorry.
It's
It wasn't
okay.
by accident. I was trying to click back to the Discord and I missed.
No, you're good. You're good. Her body is tied or is held up to the ceiling by an invisible force. Her hands look like they are turning to porcelain all the way to her chest. The only thing not porcelain is her face, which is twisted in agony, silently screaming at you, eyes bulging, blood seeping up into the wooden floor above her.
Uh,
Everyone can roll me a sanity check.
oh, for sure. Hard?
Yeah,
But not me,
but
because
not
I'm
you.
already dead.
Extreme success.
Failure.
Vicar, do you want to push that? Oh, that was a
You can't-
sanity roll.
It's a
You can't
sanity
roll
roll.
that. Roll me a D10.
It was bound to happen.
And remind me, Lady Merlane's first name?
Sylvia.
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 It changed to Sybil after a moment, but
Right,
it's
yeah.
definitely Sylvia.
That's a 7 on a D10.
A seven. Vicar, I need you to roll me a D10.
An 8.
Vicar, you see this, and you are so reminded of the pain your sister went through and the difficulty of having lived through this, and just this recurrence is just pulling something at you, and you want to scream and you want to cry, and it just won't come. All that seems to be able to come through is laughter as you start chuckling and laughing.
Hmm.
And for the next 10 minutes, you're just laughing. Everything's hilarious.
This is no laughing matter, Vicar. He's lost his mind.
Is.
How does this work?
Simple.
Oh, I assume you were looking for me.
Hello, Sylvia. And Maeve will reach into her cardigan, pull out a small thermos, pull out 2 small travel cups, put one in front of herself, one just outside the border of what I'm assuming is like a protection binding circle.
Yeah. So there's a circle on the floor, and she is up directly above.
Yep.
The circle matches the symbol on the front of the book.
Yep. And I will sit in front of the other teacup, and I will pour tea for, of course, Sylvia, and then myself. And I go, it has been... Actually, I don't think we've ever sat down. Join me for some tea, why don't you?
I'd love to, but I seem to be a little tied up at the moment. Vicar, that's the funniest joke you've ever heard.
Cadigan is going to look around the room for like something where he can go up and grab blood because there's blood on the ceiling.
We buried her. Who are you even talking to right now other than him?
Closed
Oh.
casket.
I mean, this is...
Oh, you want to speak with him?
It's been a while since I've spoken to something more. And I will grab another different locket, this one pristine, with what seems to be black wax dripped around the edges of it, sealing it. You
Do
see,
you? Hmm? Okay, go ahead.
no, you first.
No, nope. You first.
I don't know where I was going with that
Yeah,
sentence. I was
Canadian
trying to say something.
standoff.
The
All
eternal
right,
Canadian standoff.
so you found a locket.
Yeah.
Did did you? You seem to be afflicted. She's looking at your hands.
Oh, these? I've grown to like them. I think just a little bit of time, maybe some reinforcement, and they'll be quite useful.
That seal
Mm-hmm.
carved into the floor. Blood.
There is the circle. So
And
there
on
is
the book.
there are pools. So it's a what's the word I'm looking for? Trench.
Okay.
It is pooled around in a trench on the floor. The trench is empty.
Detective. Pardon me, and I reach into his coat and I pull out that flask that you've been nipping from the whole time. If I may.
Yeah, go ahead. If you need.
I can only assume that it's empty at this point.
There's like 2 swigs left.
Not anymore. And as Maeve is carrying on conversing, the vicar reaches down and subtly just like bloop, bloop, bloop.
And as your blood touches the liquid there, it hisses and goes clear.
Okay. The liquid in the trench goes clear?
Yes.
Okay. I
All
was
of
just
it?
like dipping a flask into it to try and
Oh,
take some
you
of
did.
it.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry. I
I
gave
want
something away.
demon blood
Fine.
to mix with our stuff later.
Right. Cool. You want demon blood. The blood seeping through the floor upstairs was human.
Yeah. Yes.
That's why we came down here, where this sealy trench of doom is.
It tasted like human.
Would you, we'll be free soon.
Yes. And to be honest with you, Sylvia, I haven't the slightest idea how to keep you here.
Oh, no one ever quite figured it out. I tried to break it, Didn't go quite right. But soon, now it seems you've done the work for me.
Yes, it does seem that way. And I've never wanted to do work without payment.
What are you getting in return for what you're doing?
Well, you seem to be quite a person of interest to myself and, of course, to my sponsors.
What do you want most, Sylvia?
Sylvia, that's you.
Sorry. Maeve. Sorry, names. Maeve.
I mean,
What do
she's
you want?
crazy.
What do you want most?
Well, honestly, I've found that this world is quite a show. A show that I quite enjoy watching. Sure would be a shame to have to turn off the channel eventually.
My master has seen lot for a
Yes.
long time and tells a pretty good story when he wants to.
They always do.
An story's only really worth it if there's an audience. Perhaps if you were to help him, help us, we could come to a deal.
I think that could be arranged. I do know how to help, but I do need just a little bit of your master's blood. After all the spells are based around blood, and to break it, I'll need blood.
Okay. You were talking to someone who studied
Mm-hmm.
what was going on in that book. I'm going to have you do a psychoanalysis.
Psychoanalysis?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Can I help with that?
Can I not
because I'm
fast
listening
talk?
to this, or can I listen as well?
I will also say that Maeve, during all of this, is leaning 100% into the everything uncanny about herself.
Okay. I will tell you what.
Hmm.
You're going to go against her occult.
Okay.
Mm.
And I'm going to use which?
You're going to use occult.
Occult off.
Occult off.
We're going to do you know what? You guys are pretty. We're going to do a hard occult roll.
Hard occult.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to do.
Yikes. Can I push?
You can push this.
I'm going to push
All
this.
right, before you push.
Whoop.
I know you
Okay,
pressed it before I said my thing.
Yep.
Before we push it,
Yep.
you are. Can't do math.
37.
37 exactly?
Exactly half.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You are 37 away on the
regular?
first roll with your luck.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will spend my luck to do that.
Okay. I will ignore the second roll because we didn't have a chance to talk about luck.
Yep.
You push everything you've got.
I need to stop clicking things. Sorry.
You're doing great. You push almost everything you have left into explaining the need for this ritual.
Yep.
And you see doubt flicker across her eyes for a moment. And then acceptance. And she says, very well, and opens her mouth, and black ichor comes from inside her mouth and starts to drip down around. And her mouth, when it opens, there are no teeth. It is just black goo that starts to pour down. As the demon blood holding her there pours down around you, over your face and your head, as you decided to have tea in the middle. Yeah.
Oh.
Get in there, baby.
Oh.
Can
I can't
roll
even
a
see, and I know
very
this is
hard
bad.
sanity
Laughing.
check on
You
that
sure
one?
can. You
I
sure
have looked
can.
the entire way.
Please do that. Please do that. No. Very hard. I'd like you to roll extreme sanity on that.
That's even worse.
Okay. Do you have 30?
There's no luck there.
You can't
Sanity.
luck
Oh, it's
sanity.
sanity. It's sanity. Oh, God. Ha!
All of us have
Okay.
failed that part.
Gosh.
Yep.
Detective Cadigan, nothing has ever prepared you for this. Roll me a d10.
I think this is fucking hilarious.
I am also laughing.
Roll me one more
Magic.
d10.
All sorts of crazy bullshit going on.
You take 6 points off your sanity. And you are...
Oh.
Are you meaning to...
I did not mean to do that.
Okay. Yeah.
There's
I
a lot of
clicked a
buttons on
button.
this character sheet.
There
He's
really are a
smart.
lot of buttons, guys. Roger, something inside your very logical brain snaps, and you curl up on the floor crying. You will not be soothable, or like you will not be able to calm down for at least 10 minutes.
Inconsolable.
You are, thank you, inconsolable
There you
for
go.
at least 10 minutes. Thank you. Not
Come on,
soothable.
detective.
No soothable.
Yeah. No soothable. No soothe.
Well,
Um,
All over and over. Oh my God. Just tears
will-
pouring down, snot, everything that he's experienced just crashed right into him. This was like the last straw of him making sense of reality.
yeah.
That means, Maeve,
Yes.
you are the only person, your occult is strong enough. You are the
Yep.
only person in your right mind enough
Mhm.
to cast this ritual right now.
Yes.
The others cannot participate the way they need to complete this.
you still
Yeah.
can take my blood.
I can play music.
I have blood on the gemstone already.
Yep.
And I will also remind everyone that there is still a fresh puncture wound in my cheek
Mhm.
that probably is still bleeding a little bit.
Except the demon blood's also kind of seeping through it too.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Good. It's just doing
I
its
It's
will
pre-Nick.
take the gemstone out of a pocket. It has had some time to set. Blood doesn't dry super quick, but it's a small amount and it's a gemstone. And so I will take the gemstone that has the blood of our good Vicar and our good detective, and I'll hold it up and I'll just slide it and pop it into the cheek hole and start to recite the spell right then and there.
I'll play some doobly doo,
Yep.
which I can't start the soundbite on my end.
Right, but I can. Let's put it back to the beginning of it. And actually, I want this one. The power courses through you. First black, rising up from the sigil underneath you, and then down from the body above. And as they touch and mirror each other perfectly, a light flashes from within the stone and circles all of you together and pulls a little mote, a little line and thread to the body above you as he starts screaming, "No! I was almost free!" and ties around and links you all. And the face of the Lady Merlane cracks and the porcelain fades away.
Yeah.
Leaving just blackness.
Just nothing.
A blackness along the top.
Mm.
And a seal. And everything is silent in this room.
Is it though?
Detective,
Oh my God.
buck up. And Maeve will walk out of the room.
Carry on.
We cut for a moment to the attic of the Merlane mansion, where as the final notes of the song played, the mist swirled around the room, and all of the porcelain of the last line of protectors floated away. And the shelves line empty, and a dollhouse with a burning hearth and a no longer blood-stained carpet. And in this room, as we pan back from it, a table to the left with a wooden music box. And empty shelves waiting to be filled. Only one death.
Only one death.
Only one death. And you sealed away the demon.
Yeah.
Take
And
our
it
death.
wasn't by my hand that I died.
No, it was by mine.
Absolutely. I was waiting.
This is
I
going to be a
mean,
thing now, Ken.
You were
I-
half a porcelain body. I was like,
I got
no.
shattered
I-
by the
I-
other guy.
I feel like now I have a story about how your character died.
Oh yeah, no, solid. Solid. I was only trying to help. I just clubbed the man made out of porcelain with a slab of iron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Cut
entirely
to-
planned on just like disarming you, literally.
Yep.
And
I mean,
then
I was ready to be maimed.
I wouldn't have done that.
No.
Oh wow.
I
cut
like
cut to a month later, and I own the house, and I'm a fun little antiques dealer that has porcelain forearms and hands.
Yep.
Oh, God, that's great.
The necklace with the
Yes.
stone embedded in it
Mhm.
sits in the music box in the attic,
Okay.
which only Maeve can access
Yes.
because only the dolls can access it. And lucky for you, you're still part doll.
Yeah, I had my good friend in acquisitions, Booker, rewrite the deed into my name, as we are not unfamiliar with illegal sanctions and acquisitions.
I think there was a reason I hired you.
Cadigan will help you get that notarized. So you've the proper procedures get notarized. Within a month later, you find out that Cadigan has is starting to look for a wife.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing the
Long-
vicar like tending the garden
long
out of the
after.
vicar's blacks.
Technically speaking, this is the Church of England, my friend.
Anglicanism. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm the Pope now.
Technically a step down from the bishop, but the vicar absolutely seeks matrimony with an understanding, probably a nice Irish girl that just like a dozen will do this. Look, there are some things that you don't mess with. Bloodlines are one of them.
I think,
Propagate that
Cadigan
bloodline.
has already had a chat with his niece.
Be
I feel so
forewarned.
bad for all of you because there are some very incredibly politically charged, powerful people in London that are going to come looking to this little village in England.
Maeve also finds a nice Irish girl.
I like it.
But also, I don't know, and this is completely up to the world, but I think as the Vicar and the detective get older, Maeve does not.
Porcelain.
Sealed in time.
Every child that the Cadigan has, and throughout the next century, throughout the bloodlines, they will always call you Auntie Maeve
Yeah.
or Miss Maeve.
God.
I like it. Very
Anti-stone.
Anne Rice.
Yep.
Very, yes. It's right up her alley.
Yep.
I like it.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Well,
Melissa.
This was fun.
This was gorgeous.
This
Thank
has been the most shiver-inducing stuff I have had in years.
Thank you,
Good.
Melissa.
Thank you guys. I was so excited to get a taste of Call of Cthulhu, and now I want more. So much more.
I'm here for it. If you want to just play it sometime, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
James, what we got going on?
Let me think. We're starting up Pathfinder 2nd edition next week. Riley's going to be running 6 weeks of Pathfinder. And then I believe Neon, you're running some Avatar
Yes.
after that's done.
End of November, right?
End of November.
Yes.
Yep. So yeah, we'll have 2 separate stories for Pathfinder, each 3 episode arcs. Then we're running into Avatar, and then we're gonna return to Naylor for our 5e
Oh,
campaign.
fun.
And I'm gonna try and see what some folks have been up to in our time away. So, as for the new year, we're still looking around for different systems and seeing who wants to do what. October 28th, we're running our Roll for Wishes campaign. That's in line with Make-A-Wish International. All of October, they're running the Roll for Wishes month. So we've got, I want to say 7 other streams that have joined our event for it, of various degrees. We're going to try and sit down and talk to a handful of folks that are going to be playing on different games and joining us as well. It's going to be a good time. And then in November, I believe it's November 17th, 18th, and 19th, we'll be at Tabletop YYCCon here in Calgary, down at the BMO Center, just running some games and having a good time with some folks. So if you're local or you're in the area, come and check us out. But
Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us here tonight. Thank you to my amazing investigators for saving the world. Good on
Always.
you.
I
Only
stayed
one
mostly
death.
sane.
The
Despite
cost was
my
worth
best
it.
efforts, only one of you died.
Yeah, it's a solid
Have-
time.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Bye.